All right, so let's get started with Otaku News Live for what day is it? This is probably going on January 16th, 2011. We've got a whole bunch of folks here. It is we've got in the house Matt, Miniman, and RisingZan.
Don't question me.
Hello.
Quite a group. And so today we're going to be covering some the anime of winter 2011 as well as the anime news. Let's start off with the with the anime of this season. We've been watching various stuff, so this is going to kind of go back and forth between each of us depending on what we've seen. Probably the big one in terms of most attention build-up for the season would be Fractal, which Funimation grabbed the simulcast of and is available on Hulu and such. Which of you guys have seen Fractal?
Just came out like yesterday, didn't it?
Yeah.
Too busy playing Minecraft.
Okay, fair enough. Then I will be the one talking about Fractal. So basically, Fractal is made by a pretty impressive group of anime folks, including the guy who wrote Otaku, Japan's Database Animals, a very critical book about otaku.
You did a review on that.
Yeah, and so Fractal is very interesting in that it is very much a throwback to the anime of the 80s and 90s, much more plotty, and there are like strong references to like Nausicaa the Valley of Wind, Nadia and the Secret of Blue Water, sequences which are almost shot for shot references back to those shows. And it's definitely trying to be more of that kind of a show where it's definitely got a high animation budget. The characters are not your typical modern anime archetypes. They're more classic anime archetypes. Also, the character designs are more classic style. They don't look like the typical giant-eyed modern style. They're a little more Ghibli style, I would say, designs. First episode's kind of slow. There's some action stuff, but it's certainly establishing and building up stuff. It's set apparently in some sort of like virtual reality environment. And mysterious girl appears out of nowhere, and there's a boy, and he protects her, and so forth and so on. But it's a nice, quiet series based on what folks have said in the chat room. Those who've seen it, it's not getting huge rave reviews, but it's certainly different and interesting. So that's nice.
Really quick,
yeah.
I'll be honest, I actually watched Nadia, Secret of Blue Wire this actual summer.
Oh, okay.
In dub. I watched it all the way through, and I would recommend the first half. The first half is great. Second half gets very fillerish.
Yeah.
And Nadia gets really annoying. He's a vegetarian, and
Yeah.
He's like, meat.
Well,
and the ending scares me. The ending scared me. Not because it's like really trippy or anything like that, but like basically, everyone gets coupled up, and one of my favorite characters gets coupled up with the 10-year-old girl of the group.
Yeah.
And he's like
Lovely.
25 in the series. He was 25 and he got paired up with like the 10-year-old.
What is this,
Catherine? Have a
Catherine?
baby soon. I'm like, why?
Thank you, Guy Nax. And for those who don't know, I actually was reading up on this recently. Nadia is one of the rare anime where the company that was funding it actually came back and said, "This is so popular, we want you to make more episodes." So, like, literally halfway through, they just stopped the plot and added 10 episodes of filler.
Yeah.
So there's definitely that going on. A lot of folks were kind of unhappy with that. And the funny thing is that Anno was so pissed off at having to do that apparently those episodes are full of sort of parodies of how he thinks otaku are dumb. So it just sort of goes off in a really weird direction, but it's very strange.
Yeah, it gets a bit Evangelion at the very end, in my opinion.
Yeah. And shock. So let's see here. What else? So let's move on to the other show that folks kind of looked at and said, "What? Hoso Musco Wandering Sun."
Brent,
Stop picking animes I haven't watched.
You're gonna like. Brent's gonna like this one. I predict it. He'll do a review. He'll love it. I predict it. I predict.
So who else has seen it?
Too busy
Stop picking
playing
animes I
Valkyrie
haven't watched.
so
I watched it.
All right. So RisingZan and
you
myself.
understand that the only thing I watched this year is basically from a bet, and
Okay.
it went wrong.
Okay.
That's
Fair enough.
freezing.
Fair enough. We will get to freezing.
Yeah, I have a few things to say about freezing too.
I had the greatest 20 minutes of my life watching that show.
I doubt it. Anyway, so Wandering Sun is... Boy, how do I describe this one?
It's about cross-dressers at middle school.
Thank you. Yes, it is about middle school cross-dressers. Main character is young
don't need to
boy.
review anymore. There we go. All right.
Main character, young boy who likes to wear girls' clothes. And what's interesting is a couple of things. Both the visual style, it's got this very pastel-y style to it, very muted color scheme, and almost a sketchy feel to it. Plus, it's this very sensitive portrayal of young adolescence and being a boy versus being a girl and what that means and so forth and so on. And you're right. I loved it. I thought I'm really intrigued. I'm intrigued to see where it goes. The first episode is definitely kind of just build up and set up, but this kind of came out of nowhere.
I like the girl who wears the boy's uniform. She reminds me of a Boncho.
Yes. Yeah.
So where does the whole element of cross-dressing come in? Is it just like a sort of a side thing, or is that like the main driving force
I'd say
behind
it's
it?
the main. Because the thing is, like, there's a boy who cross-dresses, but there's also a girl who cross-dresses. And, like, apparently before they went to middle school, they were best friends. And the boy cross-dresser actually confessed to loving the girl cross-dresser, but she said no, just, like, pushed her back. And now there's, like, this rumor that they're dating, and she goes ballistic when anyone mentions it. Like, first episode, someone says, hey, are you dating this girl? She gets behind the guy who said it, hits him in the back with the book, and it just, like, looks like, ow!
And then runs off.
She takes it quite personally.
Yeah.
All right.
And so one of the interesting things, though, is that, like, the boy cross-dressing as a girl, that's weird and tough. Of course, the girl cross-dressing as a boy, you wear shirts and a short, and shorts, no big deal.
Cut your hair.
Yeah, exactly. And she has short hair anyway, so it's easy.
I've always considered that only works in Iran.
yeah, good point. So the thing is, like, they both know that the other likes to cross-dress, and they've been very good friends. And she supports him in that. She understands that that's what he likes. And it should also be pointed out for those who don't understand, the boy's not gay or anything. This is not about homosexuality or anything. He's completely straight. He just likes, he thinks
wear women's clothing like a lumberjack.
And that's okay.
Is there an explanation why? Did they ever say what, like, if there was some sort of coining moment that made him want to cross-dress, or is this just...
No, not yet. At least it was actually this anime actually comes from apparently a very well-known manga in Japan.
Yeah.
It was originally manga, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really well appraised, and it finally got anime.
Yeah.
That's quite annoying. I actually don't want to watch it if it was originally manga. I've sort of started to believe that anime originals are the way to go now. I've really got annoyed.
You're gonna have issues then. Good luck.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Freezing's an anime original.
Yay!
No, it's not. Wait.
Is it not?
Romeo X Juliet was. That was a great show.
Say what, Matt?
As soon as you say cross-dressing, all I thought was Maria Holic.
Yeah, it's not like that.
No.
It's
Maria Holic had an awesome intro. I just like it seems to be my thing of being into the intros of animes, but it had an awesome intro with amazing animation.
Yeah, and to be fair, I mean, Wandering Sun seems to be more about exploring those issues that you're 12, 13 years old. You're starting to really turn from a child into something more like an adult, and you're starting to deal with those questions of what it really means to be male versus female.
It all starts in middle school.
Yeah, it really does, and so it uses those elements. There's a moment in episode 1 where it kind of implies that he's just kind of always liked girls' clothes. He just finds them more pretty, whatever. But it'll be interesting to see where it goes. But it is certainly sensitive, nicely portrayed. So who knows?
Mm-hmm. See, it definitely sounds like something to check out.
I
just
might do.
the sheer unicity of it, the
that's the thing.
unique qualities of it,
Exactly.
If you like introspective anime, you should definitely watch it.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those things that's different, which is a good thing.
Yeah, it's hard to find different animes and mangas these days.
Yeah.
For us, it isn't because we don't get as much as Japan. But I'm pretty sure that over in Japan, and if you are more of a sub watcher, then you'll know that pretty much a lot of animes, it's like 50% of them are the same.
Yeah,
or, very, very similar.
Absolutely.
And finding this other 50% is hard because that first 50% is extremely popular.
Right.
People like familiarity.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are scared of, watching something different. They don't want to come out of the niche.
Yeah.
So having the opportunity to watch something different, whether you like it or not, at least you've sampled something different.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which means when you come to another anime later on, you can compare it to this. You can say, well, it's not as bad as this, so maybe it's worth watching.
Yeah.
And that's how you get into different animes, by watching all kinds of animes. If you stay in the same anime, you'll never know if there's a different type of anime you like better.
Exactly. Exactly.
By the way, is this, when we talked about it last time, have we overrated the art style the way we're talking about it, or is it as good as we said? Because we talked a lot about the art style.
It's a good point. It's about...
Because, I'd have thought the first thing you'd mentioned here was the art style, and it seems not.
No, it is definitely a distinctive, different art style. And what you see in that trailer and the artwork, that is what it looks like. And it's got a solid... Now, it is not a particularly high-budgeted style show. But then, there's no action. It doesn't have to be. So you're not going to get those wonderful, fluid, animated sequences. You're going to get a lot of things. But it certainly does look visually unlike pretty much anything else out there.
Cool.
Yeah.
Again, that's another reason to watch it, just to enjoy this different art style. Because, again, even further into the similarities thing, most animes have one of 4 art styles, maybe. I couldn't name them and I couldn't describe them, but it's around those lines of about 4 to about 7 maybe art styles. Even then are all very similar. Yeah. To an extent. So look, a pastel style art style.
Yeah.
Pastel style art style. That confused my brain. It is something. It's an opportunity.
Yeah.
It's an opportunity to look at, dare I say, art, the art of anime.
Yeah.
So, just to enjoy that art style for one episode.
Yeah.
Is a smart decision. Whatever reason you go into this anime is probably a good one, and most likely the reason is it's different.
Yeah.
Or you like cross-dressing, and if you do, thumbs up.
Yeah.
Do you want?
Yeah.
Fair enough. And actually, speaking of different art styles, let's talk about Madoka Magica.
Damn it!
I like to say something for this. One of my best friends is gonna love this because this anime is actually made from the same company that made great magical girl anime like Magical Lyrical Girl Nanoha. Another one. Have you seen Nanoha, Brent?
I have not. No.
It's actually fairly interesting. How most magical girls is just oh, I'm gonna defeat you. It's usually that. Nanoha takes a very interesting approach. It's actually quite dark. And the reason why I say is, first of all, it's magical girl against magical girl collecting seeds of something to for the safety of the world. But the thing is, the so-called evil magical girl, the antagonist magical girl, she does it so she can help her mother, which is she's. However, here's the thing: if she doesn't end up collecting enough, the mother whips her.
Wow.
Yeah. And
then it does take a dark turn.
Whipping, all she says is I'm sorry, mother, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And she just keeps on whipping her, and it's really dark. This happens in episode 6. I'm just uh-oh, because Sailor Moon, card captors, very light, very funny, magical girl stuff. This stuff just gets you right into it, dark.
Yeah.
And there's 3 seasons of Nanoha. It's from the first season that I watched. It's really good. Yeah.
Well, Nanoha is ridiculously popular in Japan.
Madoka. Yeah. And onto the anime.
Yes. So Madoka Magica is by the director of Bakemonogatari. So it kind of looks like that, if you're familiar with that really weird anime. So visually off the wall, lots of dark colors and just really visually distinctive. Bizarre. Setup.
Like what I'm doing right now, basically.
Setup is it's pretty standard magical girl. There's some weird little creature, and there's another magical girl, and new girl has to become a magical girl to fight back, and so forth and so on. But what's different is this visual style. Is it looks like Black Rock Shooter.
Now I'm interested.
Still haven't seen it.
But it's basically like a TV series that looks like the fight sequences in Black Rock Shooter. It's just weird and stunning and high budgeted. So cool.
Yeah, well, it's the fighting sequences that are really weird. It's when they transform their magical girl stuff. That's when it starts getting weird.
Yeah.
Do you mean when you say this fight scenes are similar? Do you mean like the backgrounds of?
Yes.
Like what was in the area?
Yes.
It's all trippy. It's trippy.
Right.
Very
Okay.
trippy.
Yeah. Definitely interested now. That sounds cool.
Yeah, another thing I'd like to say is that are they living in the future or something like that? Because their classroom just looks so.
That's another good point. Is that
aristocratic?
Like their classroom is got glass walls.
Glass walls.
And like all the classrooms have it's and like the house that the girl lives in is this really weird, very modern, open plan style house. And I think that's just part of the visual style. Is that everything just looks weird. It's kind of like Revolutionary Girl Utena. Nothing's supposed to really look realistic.
I see. Yeah, but also the main family setup also kind of reminds you of Nanoha, because Nanoha, the girl, she has like a perfect life. She has like two loving brothers and sisters. Her family owns like this big house. They own like their own coffee cafe and a dojo. It's like your average rich Japanese household.
Yes.
They don't look rich. They just own a lot of property.
Mm-hmm.
No, but her best friend is rich. Nanoha's best friend is she's rich. She owns bunny butlers.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm going off on a tangent.
Well, from what you've described of this, this anime sounds like whoever made it was listening to this show whenever I was talking about I like animes grounded in realism, and just purposefully decided to spite me.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
I don't remember making an anime.
Yeah, you would. It probably is you.
Of course I would.
You did it in the future and came back in time.
Ready, look at this. Ready? You want to see what I think of you? Look, ready? Bam.
Oh!
Wait, you can see what
Let me just see if I can pull up a quick image of Madoka Magica so you can get a feel for what this looks
so
like.
cool. That's what I say to your whatever this is called.
Yeah.
Seriously, every time we talk about a different anime, I'm just going to have a different toy on for pure boredom until we get to freezing.
There we go. Okay.
That's the way I pass the time. It's my punishment.
Well, join in the conversations.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to be a bit left wing here, but we are on a talking show.
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, let's move on. So that's Madoka Magica. So let's talk about Yumakui Mary.
God damn it! Pick my watched.
We'll get there.
Wait. I need to think of another game. I need to have an excuse. I'm too busy playing. I've said Valkyria Chronicles 2. Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter 2 this week.
So Yumakui Mary is very odd, high budgeted, but about what is it about? Zan, have you seen it?
I got this. Hang on a second. I have the summary right. There we go. All right. Here's my summary for Yumakui no Mary in the first episode. A guy keeps going to a dreamlike world where he sleeps and is harassed by a group of cats who want to use him so their leader can go into the real world, but a girl known as Yukari Meri defends him from the cats.
So this is the dream version of Tron. This is Tron Legacy.
Yes.
Kind of.
Basically.
Kind of. I actually watched the second episode, and apparently Mary wants to go back to the dream world, but a lot of people want to go into the real world.
I see.
In the second episode, it gets pretty bloody, actually.
Oh.
Yeah.
And now, the interesting thing about Mary is that it really deals with this whole question of sort of reality versus fantasy. The main character often doesn't really know when he's in this dream world, which Mary can kind of cross over into. And like the whole episode is very dreamlike, really. It's kind of slow. It's kind of quiet. There'll be some really intense action sequences that kind of come out of nowhere. And there's a lot of sequences that are just sort of a Mary just kind of wandering around alone. So it has this very nice contemplative feel that I really enjoyed. plus these really cool action sequences that are just folks swinging at each other out of nowhere, and it's just really, really cool action.
Yeah.
And Zan, what did you think?
Oh, what do I think? Right. Well, I like to wait for 3 episodes to give a proper review, but right now it's about maybe 7, 6 out of 10, somewhere around there.
Okay.
I like the action sequences, especially what was the guy's name? The cat leader.
Yeah.
He had a really funny name. Oh, John Doe. That was his name, John
right.
Doe. He had this really cool weapon that was like it had spike. It was wooden. It had spikes on the side, and inside was basically a triggered mounted guillotine.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, that was really cool. So I'm going to call this series, it's like a shonen magical girl series, kind of.
Yeah.
Maybe less magical girl. That's going to be for another series that we're going to be reviewing, that I know we're going to be reviewing.
Wouldn't it be well good if the opening theme was Bohemian Rhapsody? Is this the real life?
There we go.
Is this just fantasy?
Slide.
No escape from reality.
So Yumiko Mary, quite interesting, quite different. All right, maybe some of you have seen Beelzebub.
Woo! Beelzebub. Yes, I have. I read the manga.
Wow.
Zan, I'd like to personally thank you for making up for our own
thing of the month. It's Shonen Jump.
Yep.
Manga's pretty good. It's not going to be a Naruto. It's nothing. It's okay. So it takes. Okay. So want me to give the explanation, Brent?
Sure.
All right then. Let me look for it around here. I know. There we go. A school thug known as Oga one day finds a baby at the riverside who turns out to be the son of Satan, Beelzebub.
Leo and Satan's a great show.
And so he has to take care of the kid.
Actually, here's the reason why Satan did this. Satan, basically, he's been trying to take over the world for a while now, but he keeps on getting sidetracked. So he's like, go have my son do it, yeah.
Okay.
I don't remember being Satan.
Yeah.
Zan, I'd just like to thank you now for making up for mine and Matt's incompetence. Congratulations, you're in every week now.
So the issue with Beelzebub is the comedy. It has this really over-the-top comedy style.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Okay. I can't agree with you there, but the thing about Beelzebub is it's very in your face. It is just throwing jokes at you. A lot of it is we'll say lowbrow humor, and it's very loud. It is very in your face sort of comedy. So that's the kind of thing you're going to be expecting in Beelzebub.
It's just a school thug, so yeah. One thing I'm going to say, though, because I read the manga, so I know what to look forward to, is that basically you're going to be introduced to these four main thugs of the school, because, the school is, like, thug-infested, basically, and they're pretty interesting. There's, like, the one guy who just always talks smack. There's the one guy who plays dirty. However, there's this one character who's actually, like, the girl thug. She's an interesting character, and I don't know when she's going to come out. I'm going to predict maybe episode 7 or 9. Her entrance is pretty interesting, and maybe there's even kind of a semi-love relationship between her and Oga. Kind of. It's not direct. She isn't like, I'm in love with you, Oga. No.
Get into the back of my van! I love the fact that greatest love ever.
Yeah. I'm going to give it like a 6 out of 10 right now, though.
Yeah. It's definitely for a certain kind of person.
It's shonen. What do you expect?
Just the
but that's the thing. It's not just shonen. It's very loud, brash shonen.
Yeah.
It's rough on us with sensitive sensibilities, person.
Yeah.
All right. Kore wa zombie desu ka?
This is gonna be the one everyone's gonna be raving about. I have a feeling everyone's gonna be like, "Oh, I love Kore wa Zombie desu ka." This is gonna be the big hit in America. I feel.
Again,
you're gonna be seeing this. People cosplay this at conventions.
Yes. So basic premise, I can handle this one. I think. So, Korewa Zombie desu ka, the main character was murdered and brought back to life by a necromancer who turned him into her quote-unquote zombie, although, more like minion than zombie. So he can still walk around and go to school and so forth. He just can't get indirect sunlight and such.
Isn't that how I started on this show?
Basically. And then a magical girl shows up. She wields a chainsaw. She is a very over-the-top magical girl, and for some reason, the main character basically sucks her powers and then has to turn into a magical girl himself to fight off the evil creatures that are coming up. Now, this is a much more traditional anime in a sense that this has got your over-the-top characters, bright colors, silly comedy, jokes, action, things like that. So this is more middle of the road, standard anime, and it's very well executed all the way around. You may not like the particular styles, but it certainly is. It's doing exactly what it sets out to do.
Yeah. This series, it's gonna do well. I have a feeling. However, I think you forgot one thing to mention, Brent. At the end of the episode, well, actually, not the end, but like in the middle, it turns out the magical girl can't use her powers anymore because think
Right.
Bleach, like with Rukia, if you
Right.
guys watch.
Oh God.
And basically, you know what happens? The boy gets the magical girl powers with the dress.
Right.
Yeah, so a little bit of Horo Musco there, I guess you could say. But yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting. I have a good feeling there's only one episode out, but it's going to be interesting. I give it an 8 out of 10 right now. It's going to be good. It's going to be good.
We'll see. I mean, like I was mentioning before the show, one of the problems with anime is you tend to either have a great first episode and then it kind of goes downhill, or you have a mediocre first episode and then it turns out great. So,
Story Driver?
Yeah. So we'll see where it turns out. I mean, actually, my main concern with this is to see if they can maintain the pacing. They're throwing a lot of stuff at us early on, and the question is whether they'll be able to keep on with that pace and keep pushing. But we'll see.
Yeah. I think it's going to be promising, though. All right, then. So on to the next one.
All right. Dragon Crisis? Anyone?
I've seen that one.
Dragon Crisis.
All right.
Hopefully I can say something about this one this time.
Yay!
By the way, as soon as freezing comes on, it's going to be my show for 5 minutes.
All right, then. Do you
Just
want to
'cause
give
I need the spotlight.
do you want to give the plot away, Matt?
Well, I can do it without remembering any of the characters' names other than the main character, Ryuji.
Sure.
I have got
basically-
everything ever.
Ryuji goes to school, he's picked up by an old friend. She's an archaeologist of sort, Indiana Jones kind of thing,
Yep.
wants to pick up a new artifact. Guess what? They pick up an artifact, it's a suitcase, and boom, it's got a girl inside, because that's normal.
Fuka no Campanella.
The girl turns out to be what's called a dragon, and has magical powers, and Ryuji now has to take care of her.
Yes.
And that's pretty much where the first episode leaves off,
Yes.
other than
So
a
it is
scientist
stupid.
interrupting breakfast with a helicopter,
True.
which is pretty awesome. It's the best way to interrupt breakfast ever,
That is true.
with a helicopter.
Yeah.
And
One
Well, let's
thing
get you
I like
close,
to say though is I think this is the defining quality, at least of the first episode, is the fact that all the girl can say is Ryuji, and she says it in this very cute and Japanese voice. Ryuji, Ryuji, Ryuji.
yeah.
And if anyone goes near Ryuji, like tries taking him away, she bites their fingers.
Mm-hmm.
That's a problem I had with
Really?
this character. Not because of what she does.
Yeah.
Just this anime reeks of other anime influence.
Yeah.
A lot of the stuff I've watched in it doesn't seem original. Like the biting of the hand and just the way the girl talks and the way she looks. All I can think of is Tuara Medusa no Index. She comes out of a suitcase. Shut up. She comes out of a suitcase. All I can think of is Outlaw Star. The art style is nothing new. It just constantly, this anime just makes me think it's nothing new.
It certainly is nothing new. It is a very well executed nothing new.
Oh yeah, it's that's the thing. It's got some really good action scenes in it, like the scene with the fire, the exploding fire. I loved that bit. I was on the edge of my seat. That was awesome.
I also
sorry, go ahead.
I also want to point out amazing music.
Yeah,
I totally remember.
Brilliant music.
Yeah.
It's really good composition, and that's what I always say. Awesome intro song, and the intro was again nothing new.
Yeah.
But the intro song was brilliant.
Yeah. This appears to be, as some folks in the chat room were saying, kind of the moe anime of the season. It's recycling themes, and we'll see where it goes. I mean, I'm not against that.
Pointless breast jiggle.
Yes, it does, and the question is whether it can make something interesting out of that. We've certainly seen moe shows that do fun things with moe, so who knows?
I still think Rose is adorable, though. She's just the cutest thing ever.
And it should be pointed out, the dragon is like 10 years old, so it's a loli.
Yeah. Here's some trivia for you as well.
Yeah.
A bit of trivia for you as well is the voice actor for Ryuji is the voice actor of the teacher in Mitsudo Moe.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
that's cool. As soon as they started talking, I just recognised it. I was just like, dude, it's the teacher. This voice actor actually does other stuff.
Yeah. Nice. All right.
You can't start to forget that they have other jobs.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
You just put them with one anime.
So, anything else with Dragon Crisis?
It's definitely worth watching for the first 3 episodes at a minimum. This is an everybody anime. This is an anime that's it'd be very hard for it to offend, piss off, or unattract anyone really.
Well, some of the ecchi stuff. I mean, there's a fair amount of that. Yeah. Other than that,
if you're really offended by a bit of boob jiggling, and if any man is, please, go see a doctor. But,
well, there's a bit more. There's no back scene stuff too, but
But it's for everyone.
Yeah.
I recommend sticking around for 2 or 3 episodes.
Yeah.
And then making a decision, and not just the first episode, because if the first episode ends on a really good point, and I think that's the thing. Even people that were sort of all the way through, just going, this is okay. Once they see the ending, they're probably going to, I'm going to stick around for the next bit and find out. And then once they know a bit more about the story, then they'll make a bit more of a decision. Because it looks like something that's going to have a good storyline.
Yeah.
Whatever you should do, you should never make a review on the whatever you should do, you should never make a review on the first episode. I've seen a couple people, I see a couple good reviewers do that, and I just don't like the reviews because they make an assumption on this first episode. And but if it's a first episode review, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. Man. All right, then so on to the next one, I suppose.
Rio Rainbow's Gate, the polarizing anime of the season.
Anyone else watch this one?
I certainly did.
I watched it.
Matthew, Miniman?
No?
Nope.
Okay.
Yeah, I watched it.
All right, so basic premise.
Can I give you the plot?
Sure, go for it.
All right, then. This is really short, but it's really accurate. All right. A female gambling deal, like blackjack, stuff like that, tries to collect 13 Rainbow Gate cards to become the best deal ever, and puts you through fan service every episode to do so.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a fan service anime.
Yeah, this show isn't going to go far. I'm sorry. I actually love gambling. There's actually on my website, Otaku Underground. I actually did a review on this manga called Gamblefish, and it's brilliant. It's like a thinking game shonen, and it's really good. And when I saw this, I thought, ooh, gambling, ooh, Las Vegas, or Rio de Janeiro, whatever you prefer. I'm gonna like this. No, because
this is not about gambling at all.
Yeah, it's about I have a power. The queens love me. The queens of the cards, they love me. Oh, well, I'm lucky. Oh, well, I can calculate the bowling ball. Yeah, I have, and also the next episode is going to be like, I can make bad luck fall upon you. I can predict that. This series is not going to go far. Right now, it's a 5 out of 10 for me for the first 2 episodes.
Well, I watched it, and frankly, I didn't dislike it, nor was I overly excited. If anything, I sort of liked it. It was interesting.
Yeah.
It was filled with fan service, but every time fan service is going to come up in an anime review, I'm just going to say this: it wasn't as bad as High School of the Dead. Simple as that. The fan service wasn't that bad. You know, and compared to other anime, the fan service wasn't that bad. You know, it was, yes, there was a panty shot, but it wasn't explicit. It wasn't, this is a bomb.
Yeah.
This is freezing.
You know, it was just, yes, there was fan service, but again, it was just little bits of fan service. Like when there was a breast shot, the breasts weren't jiggling; they were just boobs. You know,
Well,
that's the point.
And the thing too is that, I mean, it's very clearly a fan service oriented show. You know, you watch it to see panty shots and things like that. So I don't have as much of a big deal about that. And the fact that the fan service is of adults. Hey now.
That's perfectly Japanese. I don't mind about the fan service either, except for High School of the Dead. That can go to hell. Let's see here. But what would you say is interesting, though? I have a question. What would you say is
the concept is interesting because it's sort of a weird take on Magical Girl. You know, it's especially when she goes into. It doesn't have a name, so I'm just going to call it the gambling zone. You know, when she goes into this weird, trippy environment. That was awesome. And the contrast as well. Her environment was really flowery and nice and, you know, pink. And the dude's was dark and bleak. This was interesting. It was artistic. To an extent, you know, as artistic as an anime can be that's all about fan service. This was... just a cool thing for me, and the characters were cute, the characters were interesting, you know, the characters interacted well, and it was, you know, it's hard to fault this anime on anything but the fan service, and maybe a simplistic complex, a simplistic concept, but that, you know, that concept isn't bad, it's just simple.
Well, I would like it more if, like, the powers were more convincing. Like, you know, second episode, they already went into, I have math. I'm like, okay, what about the other 6 gamblers? What are their... Well, I'm sorry, no, it's going to be, like, 11 gamblers. What are their powers going to be? Because I already know next episode she's, like, the curse girl, the bad luck girl. So she's going to put bad luck on them. So it really makes me wonder, like, what are they going to do with the other powers? So, again, this isn't a full review of me, but, like, for the first 2 episodes, I'm going to give it a 2 out of 10. 5 out of 10. 2 out of 10. Ridiculous. Right. But, you know, it's not bad. You know, there's actually one anime that we might be reviewing that's probably much worse.
Okay.
Well, just 2 more points I'd like to make on this.
Go ahead.
For the whole concept, really, or just the overall anime, this, to really put it in how it's done, is the Beyblade of gambling. You know,
interesting.
It's because Beyblade's boring, you know, in reality, you know, and to anyone that's not addicted to gambling, gambling is boring. You know, so they're making gambling interesting to, you know, people that don't care. You know, they're changing gambling into this fantastical thing. Because as we all know, little spinning tops don't secretly have monsters inside them. Well, unless you listen to the octopus that lives in my brain. You know, it's a nice concept, and, you know, it is the Beyblades of thing. So it's just something for people to watch, and I think I said this for Beelzebub as well. It's an anime to take your brain out and enjoy. You know, it's not there to be disseminated or analysed. You're not supposed to be saying, yes, it's a social satire. You know, you're just supposed to sit there, knock your brain off for a minute, get a hot chocolate or something, because I'm weird like that. I drink hot chocolate. It's delicious, and just enjoy it. It's just, you know, a nice anime. And anyway, the second point is, although it's got so much fan service in, I honestly would say this is more an anime for girls.
Really?
I don't know why. Just watching it, it's a girly anime, you know, and I think girls will enjoy this. I'm actually going to test it and just, like, put my girlfriend in a laboratory and say, watch this! And, you know, well, I'm not that cruel. I'm going to put it on there. But, you know, just to, you know, because I do... It does seem like a girl anime. And, to be honest, if you watch a lot of girls' animes, apparently fish gills like anime. Whales like anime as well. But, you know, if you watch a lot of girls' anime, they do have fan service, you know. I mean, a lot of it's more of skirts blowing up, because that's something they can relate to. But they do have a lot of fan service in, and I think that's... The fan service is there to keep the guys watching, and the rest of it is for girls.
True.
Yeah, that's fine. One thing I want to say, Matt, before we get off this topic is if you really like interesting gambling stuff, read Gamble Fish. It's a very unknown manga made by, I think it was Shonen Gagan. I love it. It's like 60 chapters going. You can read it online somewhere. You can find it on any of your local manga dealers. It's really good. And it really needs to be more seen. It's very, very interesting. There's fan service, but it's really interesting because it really makes gambling that much interesting. It's not just like blackjack and roulette. They even get some interesting games like billiards on. They even make billiards like gambling worth.
Interesting.
Yeah. Anyway,
all right. So yeah, that sounds like something to check out.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, I can give you a link after the show if you want.
Cool.
Oh, please, yeah, definitely.
All right then.
All right.
Excellent.
So moving on from fan service of one kind to fan service of a different kind, Infinite Stratos IS.
Oh gosh. Okay, this is basically going to be the anime that is going to be my favorite anime of this season. So far from what I've seen, I love it.
It is strike witches with teenagers.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, strike witches done right.
Strike witches is slightly less creepy.
Never
I'll put it that way.
As in strike witches.
So it's
I watched the first few episodes.
So
Can we get the plot?
So it's set at an academy. The main character is a boy who is the only male who can actually pilot one of these ISs or Infinite Stratoses, which are these metal exoskeletons, which were initially developed for space use and now are used in essentially dueling. And of course, there's not going to be any sort of war or anything going on like that at all. Not possible. So he's there. The thing is, the first episode, it starts off with a fight scene in the air with characters you have no idea what's going on, and then it turns into basically harem anime. Main characters in school, surrounded by girls. Everyone's kind of intrigued by him, but also not quite sure about him. You can introduce some of the girls, and then of course he ends up he rooms with his childhood best friend, who for some reason kind of is very freaked out by him for no apparent reason. And so
Can I just make a point there?
Yeah.
Already we're hinted the fact that it's a childhood friend he loves. This is annoying. Enough with the childhood friend crap. It's boring.
Hang on. Can I say something really quick? Because this is the anime I'm gonna love this season. I need to explain. First of all, I've watched episodes 1 and 2. And first of all, the boy does not love the girl in any way. Like, doesn't hate, but like, just like, is more like, oh, hey, I remember, where have you been for the past 5 years? That's all he said in the first episode.
True.
Despising you.
Yeah.
All right. Second of all, I like this anime because it kind of finally gives a proper excuse to why in every anime why a boy is in the girls only academy, because we've seen this in so many anime. Like, I'm dressing as a girl to see my lover. I'm here because the school finally turned into a co-ed academy. It's just like I've seen that stuff so many times, but they finally give it a proper excuse.
They did this in Isekai, though.
Well, hang on a second. But also, we find out that the person who makes ISs there's only one person who can make ISs, and she's a woman. So that's why ISs are only for women.
Right.
And for some reason, this guy is we don't. That's not quite explained yet, but I'm hoping for it. And the second episode, my gosh. The action anime is beautiful. I love it. Like, okay, so there's just one scene, like, where, the British girl is facing against him, and basically she's, giving her usual action monologue, but while she's doing it, you see the gun firing, mechanically, from her. It just looks so sleek and so beautiful. It's just like, she's talking, just like, boom, boom, and, like, you see it, sliding back into place and then firing it again. I really like this. I really like this anime. It's basically going to be my replacement for Star Driver, because Star Driver eventually got flatlined, and eventually became about the red-haired kid and the blue-haired kid, and their love for the yellow-haired kid.
So let me ask you a question about Infinite Stratos. Does it get any more interesting?
Well, it's 2 episodes in.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, however, I will say this: it probably will go on to a harem anime. I will admit it probably will from the end of the second episode. But you know what? If you just pay attention to the semi-mechs, And because there's going to be like some situations, like you saw in the first episode, Brent. You know, they got into like this really crazy situation where like they're flying in the air, they're fighting against this masked fighter,
right?
And you know, she's fighting from below. Like, I can't get an accurate shot on her. That's what I'm seeing. That's what I'm seeing.
We'll have to see. I mean, you know, the big question will be whether how much of that we get.
Yeah, trust me, I don't like harems as much as the next guy, but
I love harems. That's not my concern.
Okay, but from what Matthew went off now, he's like, "Oh, I don't like harems." That's what I see from.
I'm not bothered about harems. It's the fact that
harems.
It's the I can word. It's just the fact that they've already hinted. I mean, yes, they don't like each other, or that, you know, they don't talk to each other, but it's already a hint that he's going to end up with his childhood friend. I'm fine with harems. I've watched harems. I enjoy harems. You know, they're decent and funny. I just don't like that concept because it's overdone, cliche, boring, and stupid. Because there's always one girl in the anime that's involved. It's like I watched an anime season, something Ariento, and I need to watch it again. And figure out the name as well. That'd help. But, you know, the guy was found by a girl, and then it was instantly hinted that was the girl he was going to be with, and lo and behold, he was. But there was one other girl that he was far more suited for, and the fact that he wasn't with her, I was banging on the desk screaming.
Oh, dude, you and me are in the same boat. I've seen so many harem anime, and that should have happened. I'm trying to think of a proper example. Oh no, it's probably an old anime. I was going to suggest SDF Macross with Miniman.
Heck no, we're not going there.
No. I'm just saying. But anyway, don't worry, that's not a case. And actually, the reason why the girl's actually kind of weirded out by him is because the girl and the guy actually used to take kendo classes as children.
Okay.
And eventually the guy actually asks that, hey, can you help me pilot an IS? And that basically means kendo. If you watch like the first episode, you see the girls practicing kendo and ISs.
Yeah.
And she's just like, why do you need me to practice? You should know. And she's just like surprised, like, what happened to you, man? Why are you all so weak? And she's so surprised by this. So that's why she has this weird push against this.
Yeah, but the whole why are you so weak thing is another hint. Because, you know, throughout this anime, he will get stronger and use Old Spice and become a true man.
Yeah.
And then she'll be like,
the man your man could smell like.
You smell like Old Spice. The tickets are now diamonds. I want you.
And
all right.
My main concern with the first episode, not to belabor the point, is that too late. Is that you know, the problem is we spend so much time in that first episode with people getting being annoyed with the main character for no obvious reason. You know, which may be revealed later, but it's such lazy writing, to be honest. You know, I would have liked to have seen something a little more interesting, but you know, whatever. And hopefully, you know, it'll build and become something interesting. It certainly is well animated. It has nice character designs. It looks good, and it has potential. So hey,
it definitely sounds like something to check out.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm hoping it gets good. I'm hoping. All right, let's get on the next one. We spent too much time.
All right, so moving along to another one that's going to be quite polarizing. I'm not going to pronounce the entire thing. Onichan no Koto, the incest anime of the season.
I'm gonna have. Okay, so Brent, you saw this, right?
No.
I saw episode 1. Okay.
I'm gonna say one thing, and this is basically what's gonna describe my feelings for the show and probably what's gonna become. Pardon my British, but that girl is a bloody bitch. I'm sorry, but just like she has such a. Okay. Want me to go over the plot?
Sure. I want you to go over what you just said, because putting aside it was weird, I want to know what that had to do with Britain.
Sorry, I was going to say...
Yeah, man. We're both British.
I'm sorry, yeah.
No, it wasn't insulting, I'm just confused.
Oh,
just absolutely just kind of...
I'm guessing instead of saying pardon my French, is guess why. I don't know. I just wanted to be different. I'm sorry. My apologies.
No worries.
It was just really random of me.
Okay.
But yeah.
Wait, you offended us slightly. Welcome to the show weekly. We did it on our first show. I gave it to Brent.
The main storyline is the girl loves her brother and wants to have sex with him.
Yes.
Because sexist.
Yes.
Yeah, pretty much.
Very much.
Except
yes.
they make it into a comedy, and the girl's very nasty. I'd have to say, very manipulative, very nasty. I guess it's supposed to be funny.
Yeah.
But first episode, she gets her brother in trouble, saying, "Mom, look at all the porn that he has." She deliberately finds all his porn and leaves all the porn that's incest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The girl's just a bit.
So basic premise, and I've got to spoil what happens in the first episode, but it's the first episode, so who cares?
Yeah, go ahead.
Basically, girl who looks to be about 13 or so, infatuated with her older brother, really wants to have sex with him, is constantly leaving hints, walking around with only a towel on, and it falls, all that kind of stuff. Then partway through the series, it's revealed that she when she goes into his room to find his porn, she pulls out a picture album and sees all these photos of her brother and their parents, and she's not in any of them. And she goes to her parents and asks about that and says, "Is this related to the fact that I don't really remember much of my childhood, or any of my childhood?" And they basically reveal that actually she's adopted, basically.
Dun dun dun.
Yeah. So it's handled quite nicely, where the father's best friend died in a car accident along with his wife, and this daughter was the only one who survived, and so they decided to take her in. And the her now older brother, quote unquote, was very adamant that they should take her in, and that he'd be her older brother, and that they take care of her, and so forth. So it's very sweet. And so they reveal that is now. So now she can actually, fall in love with him and have sex if they're not related by blood. So it's cool.
Okay. Here's the thing I have to say about that, Brent. Though,
Okay.
is that I love that sweet moment.
Yeah.
But it's then ruined right afterward with the fact that oh no, now we can't have that the typical stuff of a brother and sister relationship. She flashbacks to all this stuff. With the brother getting beaten up by his father. You can't have sex with your sister.
She's very obsessed by the whole incest idea.
Yes.
She really wants that illicit relationship, which is very strange. And that's the real issue with the show, is that they're definitely trying to set up the idea of sort of exploring this in a very funny way. And I mean, it's a comedy. It's not trying to say anything serious.
Actually, I have to say is that this show seems to trying to give the opposite end of the anime that was actually on last the other half of the winter season. Is that the show There's No Way My Sister Can Be That Cute.
Oremo, yeah.
If you guys watched that, it was actually really well performed, because basically the brother was trying to help her little sister confess to her otaku stuff. He got her some friends who were otaku. He helped her go to Comic-Cats, but also it was kind of hinted throughout the series that she more than liked her brother. I think maybe I'm just seeing that the wrong way, but it was actually sweet because there was no big confession at the end. There's just brother, thank you, and also at the end it was brother, can't we one more time? But I already helped you, please.
Yeah.
All right then.
Yeah, and this is definitely trying to be an ecchi version of that.
Yes, very much so.
Very much so.
I haven't seen it, but yeah.
Yeah, and which whatever. It just is what it is.
It's ecchi.
Something that I don't think you guys watched, Starry Sky.
No. Yeah, I'm sorry. That was the one anime. Actually, the one anime I didn't watch, Starry Sky. Did you watch it? How was it?
This the first episode, and they're 10-minute episodes long. It's an adaptation of a visual novel for girls. So it's basically it's a reverse harem, a lot of guys, one girl at the school kind of thing.
I think cross-dressing, right?
No.
Nope.
No, it's just it wasn't all boys school. It recently turned co-ed. She is
that storyline.
Yeah.
Okay.
And apparently, and from what I understand of the original visual novel, it's very chaste. I mean, it's nothing crazy. It's just there are these guys around, and there's a girl, and I mean, the guys aren't gay. Hey, there's a cute girl, sweet.
But they're very shonen.
But they're very much shown. It's very much a show for girls, where there's lots of boys around. So the first episode deals with one of the guys and introducing him and his life and so forth. And I've got to admit, it was a well-told story. It really introduced you to the character. It made you feel for what he was going through and sort of his old issues. And it was really nice. And it was actually nice to have a show that wasn't, focusing on panty shots or, really getting into any sort of relationship stuff. It's just, here is one character, introducing the character, the issues he's dealing with, let's move on. It was very mature.
Okay, I have a question though. What kind of fan service would you do when it's with guys though? I mean, you can't.
There's plenty of things.
Good point.
I haven't thought. I can't think of anything right now. I guess chest shots. I don't know.
Yeah.
Lower.
But
lower. No. Well, and that's the thing, is that generally speaking.
Shots of him holding Old Spice.
Well, I mean. Apparently, visual novels for girls generally they don't focus on the sex. They're just the fan service is more of sparkly guys, clothed or whatever. But it's just pretty boys. They're not as concerned as someone once said. Guys will fake love for sex, girls will fake sex for love. It's much more interest. Girls are generally just more interested in the relationship than in the physical aspect of things. Not that the physical aspect of things isn't a concern, but so it's much more relational.
Yeah, it's just this does interest me in the main point that there are guys out there that would be interested in a harem anime, not all about the boobage and
absolutely.
Sex and stuff. And, it's really not that uncommon. I don't know if it's just Japan that's thinking this, but I've asked a lot of anime fans this over the years, and I'd say, you've seen Ariento, stuff like that. You'd be interested in one that wasn't all about getting a girlfriend, right?
Yeah.
Granted, probably about 30% of them said no. There needs to be boobs. But, most of them did say yeah, because, as long as it's got a good plot, guys will be interested, and I'm not saying that about the girls wouldn't be, as long as it's got a good plot, anyone's interested. If it's got a plot that that person would like, then you would like it. It'd be weird to know it, but I'm pretty sure a lot of guys would watch the reverse harems, just because they're interested, They check out the first episode, like, on a dare or something, and then realise, oh my god, this has the best stories on the planet, Satan is now in my brain.
Well,
but, it's not uncommon.
Well, and as Soul Reaver points out in the chat room, look at Tenchi Muyo. It has minimal fan service. Especially once you get out of the OVAs. The TV series has basically no fan service, but it's a really fun harem anime. And it's very easy to watch.
It gets all space opera like.
Yeah.
Yeah. However, on the reverse harem thing, I'd have to give a good recommendation to Ouran Host Club. Very popular.
Oh, true.
Yeah, agreed.
Ouran Host Club,
it's a brilliant show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
Man, don't dare say a thing.
I've heard the concept, and I've watched clips, and I'm just not interested. It just...
Okay, well...
Fair enough.
Here's what I have to say, Matt. First episode, watch the English dub. I don't know if you know the American voice actors, but the American voice actor for the character Tamaki, Vic Mignogna. You can't go wrong.
Yeah. No, I will. If all three of you guys are interested, then I'll check the first episode out.
It's good.
But it's good, again, I'm not having high hopes for this anime.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
But the ending is epic, though. The ending is like it's like how a shonen would end almost. Like usually shoujo, you end on a confession, right?
Yeah.
Shoujo, no, it ends like a shonen, like with an epic chase sequence.
Wow.
Just
interesting.
Yeah.
Epic chase sequence.
I'm intrigued.
It's epic. I swear to you, it is epic.
All right.
But yeah. All right then. So story, none of us really watched it except for Brent.
Fair enough.
She's awesome.
Okay, so moving on, getting closer to freezing, but not quite there yet.
Remember, this will be my show when it goes to freezing. I haven't talked. Please. Yeah. This is my time. And wait, for all of you people out there, if you wonder what this says, this is help Matt locked.
We can see it. We can see it.
Is that supposed to be me?
Yeah, it forced me to watch Freezing.
Why did I watch it? I haven't even watched it.
I'm in your bloody basement, man. What do you expect?
You used him as a meat shield, man.
All right, so moving on to Gosik.
Gosik.
Which is supposed to be...
What do you think of it, Brent?
So, first off, for anyone wondering why they're asking you to go be sick, it's Gothic, but with an S, because the Japanese are like that. And basically, it is Sherlock Holmes as a 12-year-old girl. Main character is in this sort of weird academy in a pseudo-Eastern European country, and he goes to this tower, and there's this, 12-year-old blonde girl wearing, Gothic clothing. Yeah. And there's
why does this sound like Tantei Opera Milky Heart?
That's what no.
Don't compare it to that. Don't compare it to that.
So he goes in. Odd detective comes in. There's a strange case, and the girl solves it from within her tower. She just figures it out just from what he's described. And then the main character basically, then she gets a reprieve to come out of the tower. Apparently, there's some reason she has to stay in the tower. But thanks to the main character, she's allowed to leave the tower for a while. So the episode ends with her and the main character going out. She's a quiet, sort of odd person, obviously very smart. And it apparently is this sort of detective story based on, I believe, a very popular, manga, not a light novel series. First episode is definitely set up. It is establishing the characters and the basics, thing. It is not particularly stunning. A lot of folks were expecting a really amazing first episode. But the first episode is just sort of okay, establishing lovely visuals, very nice visual design, and good voice work. Everything else is very solid. Unfortunately, it is one of those things where you got to kind of watch a couple of episodes to get a feel for how it's going. It's going to be very episodic and very, much more of a enjoying it as it goes along more than anything really stunning to begin with. But it's interesting and fun.
Yeah.
And just on your point there, Brent,
yeah.
it does have a manga and a light novel series.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay.
Again, so do most anime. I actually watched the first and second episode. Episode is where the meat is. It's where the mystery starts. It seems very like a mystery novel in the first episode. Yeah. Very much so. I really. Oh, one thing you forgot to mention, Bray, is that the guy detective, he has a perm or a pompadour.
A very big pompadour. Yes.
A blonde pompadour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, at one point they call it the strangest hair in the land, I think.
Yeah, they do. The series definitely seems interesting. I would say. I'm skipping on my words. What to say? There is a relationship between the boy and the girl. Obviously, it's shown in the opening so clearly.
Yeah.
And it really is shown in the second episode as well that they start to form a relationship, and she's. I guess you could kind of say tsundere about it.
Yeah.
Though, kind of, I don't know. She has this very interesting how, her mouth and what she thinks in her head is completely different to what her body says.
Interesting.
She seems very standoffish the way she talks, the way she looks, but the way her body acts, it seems very feminine. It seems like how any average girl would take it. Yeah. But her mind and her body and her face just take it like a pro cold cut detective.
Okay, interesting. Yeah.
Cool.
I like that. All right. Let's move to one odd one before we get to freezing.
Thank you.
Hayoru Nyaruani, remember my Lovecraft sensei.
Ooh, I've watched this.
Yes, you have.
It's weird.
This is a Flash series, basically. It's an ONA.
It's a storyline, but the storyline has nothing to do with the anime.
Yes.
But it does have a storyline.
It's very odd. It is basically... okay, so roughly speaking, imagine if various Lovecraftian horrors are moe girls and live with a guy. So they all have sort of moe versions of themselves, and they've all decided to live with this guy. And that's it. There's really nothing Lovecraftian about it at all, other than the names of the characters being Lovecraftian horrors. And it's just a goofy set of little, domestic comedy episodes.
Yeah, can I go over the
Go for it.
storyline they've given it?
Yeah.
It's not actually involved. Right, the main character, sorry, I don't know the names because I haven't watched it in a while, but he's being chased by aliens, and then Cthulhu decides to save his life and then turn into a silver-haired girl, and now lives with him. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. You know, but it's like when I was really interested in this because a friend of mine said, "How about we watch this anime?" And I said, I read the title. It said Lovecraft. I was like, "Blam, must watch it." Checked it out. I was speechless. It was just so weird.
Yeah.
And
empty. Nothing happened.
Yeah. It was sort of funny at some bits. It's like, Brent, I've told you on this show before, I think, what the funniest bit of the show, of the second episode was. And the only real funny bit was a small grey dragon eating a carrot.
Mm-hmm.
And the words, which is the words for essentially nom 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 going across the screen.
Yeah.
Only funny bit, but hilarious.
Yeah.
For some reason, just seeing this tiny grey dragon going nom 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 on a carrot, on a giant carrot.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah,
I feel absolutely bad that I haven't heard of this yet. I feel absolutely terrible. I have like 13 anime on this Word document right here in front of me with summaries, and I haven't heard of this. I feel absolutely terrible. I feel ashamed as an otaku.
Well, it constantly gets weird. Like the weirdest thing about it isn't actually in the anime itself. It's in the introduction. The intro is a real anime intro.
Yeah.
It's properly drawn. Real anime style, and basically, unlike the anime, doesn't look shit.
And it comes at the end.
Yeah, it was amazing. This, well, I guess we could call it an outro then, but it was amazing. It looked, it looks nothing like it had anything to do with Lovecraft, but it looked good. It looked like the standard harem anime outro kind of thing. Just the dude being hugged by one girl, and then shots of lots of other girls. Yeah. To put it simply. Oh, and a grey dragon. No carrots involved this time, though. And that was weird, seeing this crap, and then watching that. I was certain, 100% certain I got it wrong.
Yeah.
That someone was taking the piss.
Yeah, there was just...
That I'd found a dodgy link. Yeah. And I spent like 10 minutes searching, and no. That is the real deal. That is what you were getting. You were getting weird. They're like 3 minutes long. It's not long enough for me to really comment on anything but the animation. The story I couldn't pay attention to because it wasn't bad translation, but what I was reading, at the bottom here, little subtitle-y things made me feel stupid. Whatever it was saying, they could have been quoting Shakespeare, but for some reason, just watching it made me feel dumb.
So you loved it?
Oh yeah, it was awesome.
Okay, gotcha. Fair enough. Okay.
Top 5 anime. I thought it was amazing. I'm buying the DVD. I've got a T-shirt. I'm off to meet the author.
All right.
Send me a link to that, Matt. Send me a link, please.
Oh yeah, I'll find it on Anime News Network now.
Oh yeah, it's.
I feel terrible. I haven't heard of it. I feel bad.
It's easy to find. It's an obscure one. All right, so I think it's time. I think it's time we move on to freezing.
Excuse me. All right. Okay, just let me get comfortable. Okay, here we go. Freezing. Episode 1 in a nutshell. Just adjust the glasses. I started watching Sky Blue just then. Thanks for distracting me.
Nice.
Good series.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. What series? I mean, film. All right, here we go. Freezing. Something that had the potential to be amazing. It had the most intense war scenes. It had the horrors of war. And then here comes a whole 1 minute long panty shot. And then here comes a whole 30-second long movie shot. And then here comes it's just, and then it like starts off so dark, starts off so awesome, and it's
That's
just
the weird thing
fighting.
about it. I mean, it's really dark, and then all this fan service. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, the worst thing is like on the first scene where it's a simulation fight. The world's most bloody simulation fight. Like people actually die in the simulation. It's a bit messed up, but basically it's like its storytelling is off, its pacing is off. It's about these people who went to who are trying to fight a war against the Nova, who are some aliens who we haven't seen anything of yet. And then there's some guy who's like the sister of someone who helped people, and then he's like, tell me the story about my sister in front of the class, so I can basically brag because I'm a lovely and likable character. And it's just like, hey, we don't know when this bit happens after this bit, but then we're going to see people fight, and then we're going to see this gruesome bit. It's going to go from gruesome to annoying to gruesome to like there are some cool scenes here. Like there's one scene in which the main girl grabs the arm of one of the people, breaks it, and slices her in half.
Yeah.
And it's just like, wow, that's awesome. And then suddenly comes a character with boobs.
Miniman, really quick, if I could talk about the fan service, just like this. Okay, in the first scene when, like, their shirt gets cut up, it regenerates, right? The shirt gets regenerated, it gets cut with the sword, but it regenerates,
right?
Because or something like that. But in the next other scenes, like, they don't regenerate. I'm like, WTF, May? Like, really? What the heck? Because it says, oh, so it regenerates. Okay, so there's not going to be any fan service. All right then. Then it doesn't regenerate though. Like for the other scenes, there's no regeneration. I'm like, what the heck? I thought you said the clothing can regenerate because they even put on this special clothing for the battle.
Yeah.
So you think, okay, so that's why they wear that uniform. Okay.
The first scene you actually see is a person walking in, gets undressed, and then just goes, hey, and suddenly he gets put in this like weird maid outfit thing.
Yeah.
And I mean, the thing is, which annoys me so much, is that like some scenes are really cool. Yeah. Like really,
they are
awesome,
really stunning,
and it's just like, and the problem is like I think I would be alright with it, but then as soon as the last scene came out, where there's someone who's actually had their boobs hanging out, like the words just, oh god, Queen's Blade has a season 3 in the future.
Yeah.
And it was like that one shot extremely disappointed me.
And to me, here, this really sums it up. There's a sequence about, I don't know, a third of the way in where you cut to basically a field hospital. And they're sort of patching up the girls. And it's painful. I mean, you hear girls screaming and squealing, and you see all these bloody instruments, and they're trying to patch up. It's really, it's a very unnerving sequence. It's great, and they're doing all this surgery, and it's wonderful. The opening sequence is a girl stripping her clothes off. I mean, that just kind of really sums it up. The first thing you see is these sort of kind of glory shots of this girl taking her clothes off, taking off her bra, taking off her panties. It's like, okay, that kind of is what we have come to expect. And it's really frustrating that you have these wonderfully intense sequences and really well put together things interspersed with this just completely pointless fan service that isn't even really arousing. I mean, it's not even really, oh wow, that's cool. It's just, okay, wow, there's a breast. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, like, on some of the...
Miniman, are you done with your rant, or you still want to go? Because there's one, 5 seconds of the show that I want to talk about that they were my favorite 5 seconds of the show.
Okay, can I talk about 5 seconds first as well?
Yeah, it was my favorite 5 seconds of the show.
Which just proves to you how also bloody and shell-shocking it can get, which is it's during a flashback war sequence, and this explosion thing happens. Also, we have no idea what freezing is, but it actually does. Like, it's never been seen properly working, but like it says it's supposed to, so, but that's different. We'll talk about it later. But at one point, this explosion happens, and there's a girl with her right leg just off, screaming, blood pouring out of it, and faint. And like, oh, and then this girl who's looking at her looks through her right arm, and it melts off. And then this girl screams, faints, and dies. And it's just like, wow, you cannot get more provocative than this. And then we cut to a panty shot of the dead girl lying down.
Yeah.
We do?
Can I just say one thing?
Yeah.
Well, it's more of a question. There must be at least one person involved in High School of the Dead doing this.
Must be.
All you're talking about is essentially High School of the Dead.
Yeah. No. High School of the Dead was restrained compared to this. As in, it was in chains.
Well, the thing about High School of the Dead, I will give it, is that it's the odd thing, is that High School of the Dead's fan service was more sexy fan service. This is more just cutting to shots of panties. You know, High School of the Dead tried to sort of integrate its fan service in a way. Poorly, but yeah, I mean, it's like, okay, you see a character running up the stairs, and so you see a panty shot, for example. This is a lot more random, and part of my problem is, like, what I talk about with High School of the Dead is that my frustration is that it was trying to be arousing at a time when I didn't really want to be aroused. This isn't even arousing. This. Yeah,
I don't want to be aroused when there are people with their legs blown off.
Yes. I mean, it's
that scream.
That's what the thing is.
That scream though is haunting.
It is.
Absolutely. It's like the scream from Psycho. It's just, it does stay there. Mm-hmm. Also, I will be watching the whole series. I lost an unfortunate bet, so so at the end of the 12
you need to stop gambling.
Episodes.
Yes.
You need to stop gambling with your friends. Simple as that.
I'll watch some more Rainbow. I'll watch some more Rainbow thing. That will cure my gambling problems.
All right. But I want to talk about my favorite 5 seconds of the show. Okay, so first of all, you have the main character girl that we see in the beginning, and let's say this: she is a badass. She is just like killing like the 5th best in class, the 4th, 3rd, and 2nd at the same time.
No, not the 2nd. 5th, 4th, 3rd. We don't see the 2nd.
Anyway, so it's finally a showdown between the 2nd best in the class and her, the 1st best in the class. So they're showing off, and they're just like ding, ding, boom, psh, poo! And she's still kicking her ass, And then all of a sudden, there's a boy. And like this is this guy that we've been the guy sister guy, and and then eventually like this girl, like she's covered in blood, her weapon is like at the ready, and she knocked the 2nd best into like the wall, I think, or something like that. Anyway, but the guy looks at the girl who's kicking everyone's ass, and he's like, "Sister, is that you, sister? Sister!" And basically hugs her, and from 0 to 1 second. She goes from badass to complete moe. She's like, "Oh, what are you doing? Why are you hugging me? Oh, we shouldn't be touching like this. You're a guy. Oh." She's blushing. She's squirting like, "Oh." And at the very end of the episode, you see the 2nd best being like, "You're dead," charging with like her weapon, and just like,
To be fair,
for me, was the most hilarious 5 seconds of the show.
To be fair, she does have a fear of being touched.
Yeah. I can kind of predict that, but she just was like,
and also the fact that her freezing dissolves through what is essentially orgasm, which is kind of weird.
Oh, wonderful! Thank you, Japan.
She basically goes, and then suddenly like all these crystals like start shattering. It's actually quite a cool thing. It looks really awesome. And it's like, and suddenly the whole shield goes down. It's like your defense is down, and the girl just stabs her.
Doesn't freezing have to do with the guys' power or something like that? Like the boys are like the kind of like the support people of the group. Like they help their partner or something like that. Isn't that how it works? Aren't they? Yeah, that's what I've read at least.
Yeah.
Except they're fighting a war against an enemy no one has no idea what it is. It's just called Nova, and it's supposed to be an alien, but we haven't seen them yet. And also on the sequence of the flashback where you see the freezing power, it's useless. It doesn't do anything. Yeah. And there's just like, what you got to do is you got to risk your life by combining senses with this person by doing something which does nothing, and in fact it's shown that a computer does in a massive radius as well.
So we all love freezing. We're all huge fans.
Again, buying the DVD, meeting the author.
You own the T-shirt. Absolutely.
I'll watch the first 3 episodes. I'll see and watch. I don't want to sit through High School of the Dead. I read the first chapter of High School of the Dead. And by the way, it has as much fan service as the anime.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I couldn't read anymore, even though my friends
said. There's a disturbing bit with the dog as well.
Well, just a point on High School of the Dead. Even though it had so much fan service, I still managed to watch the entire first series.
Oh yeah,
it was because the storytelling was good. The storytelling was quite intense.
No, it was good until they got out.
It just had a shit ending.
Good until they got out of the school.
Yeah. Well, not even out of the school. It was good. Brent, did you see the end of the series?
I did not. No.
Well, the end of the series is pants. It's not even hinting at the fact that there's going to be a second series. It's just crap. It just ends.
Yeah.
There's no the doom is coming. It's just this is the end.
Mm-hmm.
It's a ride into the sunset ending.
Yeah. But I honestly thought there was another episode coming out, and it's like I watched that episode and thought, like 4 weeks later, oh, I should watch the rest of that anime, because I didn't think it had ended.
Yeah.
And then I went online, and it was like.
They got up to the end of like volume 14. Yeah, they got up to the end of like volume 5 and stopped. That's how volume 5 stopped. So whatever it was in the manga.
The thing is, though, there is one scene at the end of High School Dead which I am quite happy about, which is just, who's that annoying girl, the one that ends up drilling a zombie in the face like early on? Like, who's scared of everything.
The pink-haired genius girl. Yeah.
Honestly, she's a total brat throughout the series, and then she's like worrying about her parents, and then the guy just, out of pure anger, just picks her up, and it's just like, and I just hit my fist on a light. Basically just picks her up, and it's just like, look, you freaking brat, know your place, get on it, it's a fucking zombie apocalypse, your parents are here, they love you, so either, here's the deal, I'm gonna hit you with this baseball bat right now to death, or you're going to join with us and help us save our families. Like, save families, save families. It's just like, thank you, High School Dead. You've redeemed your panty shutdown.
It seems like High School of the Dead is going to have a big difference from Freezing. High School of the Dead has not just some good scenes, some amazing scenes.
True.
The scenes where, the scenes are interspersed with a bit of fan service, but especially the scene where the main character saves the little girl. Best scene in an anime.
I think the scene where they introduced the little girl's much better. That's just horrifying.
It was
hello.
really sad.
And that's the thing.
Will have that, I think.
And that's you're exactly right. Is that the thing about High School of the Dead is it was extremely well structured. The fan service was interspersed with that and seemed kind of weird, but that was I've said it before. That is kind of the perfect zombie apocalypse story. Others have done it really, really well. Others have done it probably perfectly as well. But that is how to do zombie apocalypse in the anime. Freezing has some great moments, but it is not as well structured. It doesn't really come together in that way. So, anyway, so I think we put Freezing to
it does have a small potential.
It does have potential. That is true. So we'll see. It's certainly not. It's actually one of the interesting things about this season. I mean, going through this stuff, there's stuff that we. But there's no really horrible anime this season.
Oh no, there's definitely no really bad ones. I don't think I've watched anything this season that's made me, turn it off. There have been animes that I've watched and thought, what kind of pants?
Right.
Well, no, I am sort of wrong here. There is one horrible anime, and that's Tante Opera Milky Ho.
Well, that was last season. Then.
Absolutely, sir.
No. That was so bad it transcends seasons.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
like
It's not. It's a decade anime. This is one of the bad. You don't say which was one of the worst animes of the season. Tante Opera Milky Horns. The guy that you're voting with would say no. That is not counted in seasons. This is uncounted in one of the worst animes of the decade.
Indeed.
Although,
would it be the?
Okay.
Oh yeah, it would be the last decade. Huh? Never mind. One thing I will say in this show's defense, though, is that I liked the villains. The villains were cool. Villains were fun.
Oh yeah,
fair enough.
Actually, I think there should be a manga about those guys. Like, think about it. You see shows about like magical girls, stuff like that. Let's see a show about like evil magical girls and why they do it. Like, what makes them succumb to the darkness. Let's see a manga about that, huh?
Yeah.
And if you've just joined the show, we're actually talking about this season's anime. Just thought you need to know that.
Right, sorry.
The bad guys are cool.
Yeah.
The bad guys are nice. They're nice people.
Yeah. They are nice people. The reason they're called gentlemanly thieves, there are reasons.
Yeah, they're brats. Like, oh, we lost our powers. We're useless.
Okay, all right. That's enough. Moving on.
All right. Teams of anime.
I'm now taking back control of the show. Moving on.
Brent needs a gavel.
Right ahead.
I do. Need a gavel. All right, so is there anything else? That's all I've seen this season. Is there anything else that you guys have seen?
I've actually seen
Mitsudomo, Level E, and Tawara Medusa no Index. Those are the three animes I want to talk about.
All right.
I'm just going to start watching Sky Blue.
I've seen Mitsudomo E Season 2. I've seen Level E, Wolverine, and one that I kind of do like, Card Fight Vanguard.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk Mr. Demoe. What do you guys think?
Mizudomo season 2. I've only watched the first episode because it's the only episode that's out.
Yep.
Starts awesome. The
Gachi
one
Ranger!
thing, the Gachi Rangers. They did an intro for the show. You know, this is a one-off thing that will be never heard again. And there was so much effort into it. The animation, you know, the drawing style was ranked up a bit. You know, the sheet count was racked up just for this intro. You know, that's amazing dedication and love for the fans. You know, that is cool, and I loved that. I thought that was brilliant and really take a breath. I can't even talk now.
It was so nostalgic too. It was really nostalgic. Like the
all I
days
could
of
think
Power
of
Rangers.
was Power Rangers.
Yeah.
I was just Power Rangers theme tune all the way through my head.
And I like how the Gacha Rangers follow all the Power Ranger stereotypes. You know, the red's like the encouraging leader, the blue one's the smart one with glasses. The
And the red is the favourite one because red is the 90%
the leader.
It's not red is the 95% favourite colour of all boys. At that age.
Interesting.
That's a statistical fact.
Yeah, but I really I like the Black Ranger. He was funny as hell.
Yeah, he was a reference. You know, he was like a gender swap of the youngest twin, the triplet.
Oh yeah, huh? What's he playing?
That is Sky Blue. Wonderful Days.
Oh.
Great anime film from Korea, actually.
I see it. Oh god, knife's coming at me!
So,
Great show. Great show.
Now we are talking Mr. Demoe here, are we not?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was. So go ahead.
Season, basically, Gachi Rangers was like the favorite kid thing. It was actually the very youngest kid's favorite show, and she always kept it in secret that she liked it because her older. I think she's the older sister. Would make fun of it, saying, "Oh, that's such a kiddie show," and so she'd keep it a secret.
I've only seen the first series, so I can comment that her love of Gachi Rangers is brought up a lot, like a whole episode where someone thinks she's obsessed with the teacher.
Okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
Yeah, talking about sex is based off her
that
love
is
of
kind
it.
of what
Very
this film
funny.
is about. But you know, it's charming, especially that all the character archetypes. I find them charming. But the first episode of the second season, really good, really good.
Cool.
It was just a great start. I think I'm just looking at my notes now. For anyone that hasn't watched Mitsudomo 1, it's definitely worth checking out and watching through it, and then waiting for this one. And it's just a really good laugh and enjoyable. Is Mitsudomo. And the other thing is, yes, it's a bit sensitive because it's young kids about 13, talking about sex.
Oh, they're like 10. They're elementary school kids.
Well, still, they're talking about sex. But again, kids that age know about this stuff. But anyway, that's not the point. It's they might be talking about this stuff, but they're not doing any of it. What they're doing is what kids do at that age. Boys at the age of 10 ran up to girls and lifted their skirts. That's what they did. It's none of this is offensive in the manner of this doesn't happen in a common and playful setting. It's not. It sounds weird when I'm saying this doesn't happen because the other stuff.
You had a messed up childhood, mate.
It's not good. It happens in a common place that parents allow. They allow their kids to run up and poke girls and lift the skirts and run off and play kiss chase. None of this is weird.
Right.
And it's funny. I just think this anime is just full of funny, hilarious stuff. And I think the best thing about this anime is it's not Lolita. Simple as that. Not Lolita. No fan service. No.
Yeah.
This is a house anime.
It's also really sweet, I have to say. It's really sweet, especially with the ending with the father and the three girls. That was a really sweet ending, how that did. Yeah, especially I like the ending song in general. It's just it's a good ending song because it's like, okay, the show's over, time to go to sleep.
I got the main theme tune on my iPhone.
Oh god, is that like next dance song?
Yeah, so have I. I've got it as well.
Nice.
I listen to it on the way to college every day to get myself hyped up.
Nice.
It's awesome, and that's a question. Speaking of the intro, does every Japanese voice actor know how to sing?
Yeah.
Well, no, it's almost a requirement. Like, it proves that they can change their vocal cords.
Yeah.
It makes you a triple threat.
I will say
Double threat, actually, in this case.
There are Japanese voice actors who cannot sing, and I have proof. However, they are all forced to sing. So they'll have to, learn at some level.
Yeah.
But I suppose if you're a voice actor, you have at least a decent ability in singing anyway, because you can manipulate your voice.
Generally speaking. And there is definitely a strong crossover between voice acting and singing just because of the skills involved, matching, animation, and it's a very rhythmic sort of exercise.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah,
so now we're on to, wait, what did you say, Miniman?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I'm the sort of guy who always tries and gets some sort of structure and always wants the story of an anime. And so, I didn't finish Mr. Mo Season 1 to the end, but I've watched it a lot more than I watch these comedy animes because, even though it didn't have a structure, it even for people like me who have some hardcore story, who really want something there, like Elfen Lied, Death Note, something, Kamino Kyoko, anything like that, 5 episodes, 6 episodes is how many I watched, but it's a great chill-out laugh, and, you'll enjoy it and remember it. So even if you haven't actually, even if you want a plot, don't miss out on this.
It's a great over-the-top slice of life. It's not slice of life, it's over-the-top slice of life, because weird stuff happens, the whole nosebleed thing, stuff like that. But it is slice life in a way, it's just comedy, There's no laser beams from the sky, it's just a nice thing to just sit, watch, and laugh. It's just ace.
Cool.
Yeah, nice for otakus.
Yeah,
one point about Mitsudomoe.
Okay.
When we reviewed it on Live and Tims of Anime, go check it out. Little plug for myself there. We picked Mitsudomoe because the description, we thought it was going to be a disgusting, horrible Lolita anime that just didn't deserve to be on television.
Oh, yeah, same here.
Look at me now. I love the show. It's nothing like the description gives it,
Yeah.
Cool.
Thank God.
So next is Level E, I believe?
Yes, Level E.
Yes.
Matthew, you want to give your thought? Because I already like the show really much. I like the show.
Yeah, I liked it. It was it wasn't what I expected. It was I was watching it. I was doing a little last minute, excuse me, watching of anime, to make myself prepared. And I thought, right, I've watched a couple silly shows now. I'm going to watch a serious show.
Okay.
Because I thought it was going to be quite serious, and it is serious to an extent, but it is light-hearted and funny and all that.
Yeah.
But it's good because I guess I'll go over the plot. A high school student.
He's
finally convinces his mum. Yeah, he gets a baseball scholarship and convinces his mum to let him live on his own. So he moves to Tokyo. I don't know. He moves out of Tokyo.
It's like Inner Japan, I think.
Yeah, and when he arrives at his new apartment, a dude is there and claims to be an alien.
Okay.
And now he lives with him.
And he really is an alien.
Oh yeah, he really is an alien.
We see him we see him recover from bullet wounds and heal a dead cat. I think.
Okay.
I think. Yeah, I've got a point to make about the healing thing. It has been so many times in an anime where we have seen in the first or second episode, a dude get seriously injured, magically heal himself, and then that ability is never used again, even when
Angel from Angel Beats
dying.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see, because it's only 2 episodes. I don't know if it's a manga or not, but we'll see. What I really liked it was my favorite scene of the first episode was with these puppets, and basically how the alien initially convinces him to stay in the house is you pressed the self-destruct button on my ship, and he's like, what? No, I didn't. And then he uses these rubber puppets, and he's like,
I didn't like that scene.
Oh, you didn't like it?
No, I thought it was just weird. It's like, I'd already established this anime was, silly, but serious at the same time. It was just that sort of light-hearted thing to it. But then when I saw that, I was just watching the screen in confusion, because it was irrelevant and just weird. It's like I've got 3 words to describe it somewhere. Yeah, it was weird, creepy, and rather irrelevant. Because it was creepy. Hearing the dude's voice say this, I was creeped out. Mainly because, where did you get the puppets from?
Alien, I don't know.
Yeah. Just for some context, I did a little bit of research. This is by the creator of Yu Yu Hakusho and Hunter x Hunter. But this was he wanted to make something more, funnier and more realistic in art style and so forth. So this is more of an experimental
the art style's
manga
very
work.
realistic.
Yeah, it was originally a manga done back in the mid '90s, actually.
Oh,
Yeah.
Long time coming then.
Yeah, no kidding.
I thought it was good. You know, it was good. It's worth the first episode to watch.
Okay.
Ooh, Zan, what did you think of the E.T. reference?
I laughed. I'm sorry, but
I laughed my ass off.
I know it was so funny. Especially, what was the best part about it was he was like, oh.
Yeah, it was like, show me proof you're an alien. Oh! It's like just.
Nice.
but no, if you want like a quick satirical show like that, search on YouTube Leo and Satan. It's very funny and it's the same premise.
Okay.
Oh, interesting. Right then.
The intro as well. Sorry to talk about the intro of every anime we've ever seen.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, every episode of Live and Tim's, you always say the intro is brilliant. Every.
Yeah, the intros are good.
Yeah.
No, because I'm a music student, I like music. Music do, and the intro was it.
The intro is very actiony. It's very action packed.
Yeah, but I liked the colours as well. But the thing is, the intro constantly made me think of Men in Black, and I swear to God, if there isn't a Men in Black reference in this anime or the manga, they've done it wrong. There needs to be a Men in Black. It's all about aliens on Earth. This basically is what is this is like Men in the Men in Black universe, but the Black are not involved.
Well, technically in the first episode. Technically, in the first episode, there was that scene with the guys in the suits. So maybe that's a premonition of things to come.
Yes,
maybe?
a slight hint. Too bad it wasn't a tall black guy and a slightly shorter white guy, both sunglasses and in black suits. But there won't just be a Men in Black reference. There will be every reference in the book. There will be a reference in the episode, but I don't think they'll ever top that E.T. reference. It was absolutely awesome. It took the best thing about it as well is it took me totally by surprise, just completely by surprise. And
that's the best. That's the best kind of
surprise anymore. Damn you, Matt. I was thinking of pondering watching this. Oh, it's got an E.T. Oh no, no.
Yeah. That's.
Oh, you don't know where it's come. Well, actually, you will know when it's come out.
Oh wow.
Yeah, what I'm expecting though is they make an alien cultist episode, and they go like Ventura, space of people. That's what I'm expecting. I was expecting that in the first episode, but
I'm expecting Ripley to show up. Yeah, just Ripley, just to show up out of nowhere in the big metal suit and beat the shit out of the guy.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I'd watch it.
All right, so
speaking of beating the shit out of people, Wolverine.
Oh, Wolverine. I'll do the plot for this because it's a very simple plot. It's Wolverine in Japan fighting at all odds to save the girl. What else do you want?
Yeah.
And actually, funny enough, I think this actually follows DC plot to any of you comic guys out there. I don't read American comics because from
what I've heard,
read comic A to read comic B and C and D. No. But it actually apparently follows to plot because I think it was part of Wolverine's backstory that he had a Japanese girlfriend during World War II, I believe.
I believe what this does is there was a very well respected plot line involving Wolverine in Japan. This is not it. They basically took the same premise and are doing an original story with it.
Yeah, that's what I think. And the first episode, I have to say, I think it's better than the Iron Man anime.
Okay.
At least the Iron Man anime's first episode.
Okay.
That's what I think.
Fair enough.
Yeah, because the plot seems very basic. Save the princess, go up the tower, fight the father. We've seen this in many anime, many manga. Yeah. But I'm a sucker for this plot. I'm a sucker for it because I like those. Unicorn, Nazi sort of stories.
Now,
I'm a sucker for them.
Now, does it look like the Iron Man anime, animation wise?
Well, it's less metallic if that's what you're asking.
No, not just but I mean, that's a very distinctive visual style they established.
Well, I watched the first 2 episodes of the Iron Man anime.
Right.
It does seem like it's the same sort of thing, but it seems a little bit more human, I'd say. It's the same drawing style, I'd say that.
Okay. Yeah.
But also, the Iron Man anime seemed to be more about industrial Japan, while this anime seemed to be more about underworld traditional Japan. Because first episode, he sneaks into a traditional Japanese complex and fights the girl's father with wooden swords.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Good. And I think it's one of the complaints a lot of folks had about Iron Man is that the industrial side of things was rather dull. So hopefully this will be something that folks can grab onto a bit more with more interest.
Well, one question about the art style: how many male characters looked like they had rippling abs? All of them. I'm guessing. I'm pretty sure all of them, because that seems to be their art style.
Suits, so I didn't notice. Yeah, I'd have to say like 50% of the characters were wearing suits in the first episode.
Okay.
Everyone was wearing black
that was my problem. One of my few problems. The Iron Man anime hasn't gone down well, and I think that's weird because I thought it was all right. It wasn't good, it wasn't bad, it was just meh. Anyway, that was one of my few problems with Iron Man. Every man looked buff. Even the fat guy looked buff. And it was weird.
Yeah.
It was really jarring to just see this fat guy look like he had rippling abs.
It's very American comics, and it's something that a lot of folks have problems with, and I, myself included, that everyone is ridiculously muscled. You know, it's just it's a weird style thing. All right, so good to hear that Wolverine is interesting, has its moments.
And our final anime, I think, is called Fighto
Vanguard.
Excuse me, don't forget Tuara Majutsu, or I will kill you.
That's true. All right, we'll do Tuara in a minute.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Oh no, go with your anime first. I don't mind.
All right.
I like to save the best for last.
All right.
All right, then. So we're doing a card fight, though.
Yeah, sure.
All right, then. I have a very simple plot for it, and it's a plot that I really much like. A realistic version of a card game anime.
Realistic.
Kind of.
Okay.
So imagine the first episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, you know the bullets point for Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, his father gets beaten up over a card, and then he has to fight in this new experimental hologram projectile thing against some rich millionaire. That was the first episode of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime.
Okay.
The first episode of Card Fight Vanguard anime is just like a kid. He loves this card. He then gets it bullied out of him because it's apparently a really rare card to fight this pretty experienced player, and they fight in a card shop, and that's where the first episode starts and takes off.
Okay.
And I find that to be really realistic because I've watched. There's actually more than one card game fighting anime/manga, and it usually starts off as really flashy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this episode is a little bit more humbling, and also if you look at the ending, it looks like they're going to tournaments. Okay. And it actually reminds me of my friend when he talked about his Magic the Gathering days. Getting on a car together to like some card shop, some downstairs basement to play a tournament. That's what it reminded me of. That's what it reminded me of in his stories.
So it's sort of more of like an Angelic Layer or one of those shows where it's actually people literally, they're not traveling the world to Egypt to find the weird artifacts. It's just playing cards.
Nice. It could turn into that, but I don't think so. It seems interesting though. I like it.
Good for them.
First episode, he says imagine you're in the planet Krei and you're a spirit and you can possess the spirit of the heavens work right. But that's just showing pizzazz right there. That's just to get the kids pumped up and explain why they're like, wah! when one card, gets defeated.
Yeah.
I think that's just that. But other than that, I actually watched episodes 1 and 2, and I really much like it because the card rules actually make sense. And if you actually read the Yu-Gi-Oh card game rules, you'll know that you can't do half the stuff they do in the anime. You can't really destroy the rotator cuffling of the floating fortress and have it crash down on all the enemies. Yeah, you can't do that because that's ridiculous.
Cool. Sounds like a worthy show.
Promising. It's promising.
Cool. Very good. All right, so Index Season 2.
Can I just make the point that I did play Yu-Gi-Oh! And Duel Masters? Both awesome games.
Yes, you have.
Duel Masters was better. And don't let anyone say otherwise.
Duel Masters like Magic?
I still play Yu-Gi-Oh!
Duel Masters was... What, sorry?
the Gathering.
Yeah, it's more like Magic the Gathering than it is Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah.
It's just awesome.
That's the show.
Awesome game.
Okay.
Right, anyway, Index, the chat room, and probably everyone that's watching now, hello future people, knows I love Index.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Oh, yeah.
Index, favourite anime, better than anything in my opinion, just you can't beat it. Season 2, first episode, kicks off straight away with one of the short stories of the novels, and which I think is one of the smartest ideas you can ever do. You know, instead of overlaying someone who's new, because a lot of people that are new to animes do watch the second season by accident. So instead of spoiling major bits of the story, you know, they're giving you a short story, and then you sort of realise, wait a minute, Index 2, perhaps there's a 1. But yeah, it's just straight away a short story, and you know, it's like 10 minutes in, or if that, like 5 minutes in, there's an explosion.
Okay.
The dude's house is blown up. Well, technically blown up. It's like destroyed with wind.
Okay.
Anyway, I should go over the plot. I'm going to take off my hats because for some reason my room's getting incredibly warm. Right, the plot. Kamijo Toma is one of the only espers in Academy City who's a level 1. He has no abilities other than what is called Imagine Breaker. Imagine Breaker stops any ability. Stops any Esper ability. But here's the twist, because so far you think sci-fi. Here's where fantasy comes in. It can also stop magical abilities, because there's magicians in this. This is basically magicians versus other magicians, and Espers getting in the way.
Okay.
You know, it's not magicians against Espers, because most Espers don't know about magicians. Anyway, actual plot. Kamijo Toma finds a nun hanging off his balcony one day. She's hungry, he feeds him, she goes off, and he's being informed about all sorts of magic, he's confused, and he's roped into this war between religions, you know. And that's another one of the cool things. It uses religions that already exist.
Oh, interesting.
You know, like the Roman Catholic Church is obviously the most powerful, and towards, like in the second season, you'll notice that the Roman Catholic churches aren't exactly nice people. But then again, a lot of the other churches aren't either. You know, that's not prejudiced against the churches. This is more on the side of science is good. Okay. Kind of. You know, it's got that subtle hint that Darwinism for the win.
And stuff.
But it's just a really good, and the second season doesn't lose any of this. It's got amazing character interaction. The music fits perfectly. You know, the characters are all, the music. Sorry, I don't know why I said the characters. The music is always in the right time, at the right mood. The music gets you hyped up for the big action scenes. All the characters are varied and very, very much the opposite of one-dimensional. You know. And the character relationship isn't typical, because from what I've described, since the nun is a girl, you would think, oh, Toma's going to be in love with the girl. But Toma isn't in love with anyone straight away, you know, because like most animes, instant love. But Toma doesn't care. Toma's just, I want to pass school. Because he can't learn an Esper ability, he's not very good at school either. And there's just so much in my head. I should scroll up to my notes, that would probably help. Right, intro. The Matthew thing, to talk about the intro. Yep. The actual intro, the animation side of it, was better than the first 2 in season 1. Nice. Better animation, more entertaining. Okay. The song was about the same level. Okay. It was really good, but it wasn't, you know, anything spectacular. It was just decent. And then in the second season, the song was, again, just good. Nothing amazing. And I've already mentioned the fact that it was an incredibly smart idea to kick off with a short story. And it's not like a bad short story. This is an awesome short story. And it's really tragic. Some dude wants to save a woman that he doesn't love. He just knows from a curse. So he's going through any means necessary.
Yeah.
And this is enjoyable. It's got this really dramatic feeling to it. You're getting enrolled in this character, and it's kind of disappointing that this character is only in it for that one episode.
Yeah.
Also, one thing I have noticed about season 2 is it's not exactly a bad thing or a good thing. It's just they've ramped up the blood. In season 1, there was blood, and in one of the bits, a dude loses all his skin, and you see it, but it's not bloody, and it's not especially disgusting. It doesn't exactly look gory. He's had his skin removed. He hasn't had his arm chopped in half.
It's just basically like that scene of Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
There's one story arc in season 1 that has pretty much all of the blood in season 1, but in season 2, there's quite a lot of blood. It's not gory. It's not like people having their arms chopped off, which does happen in season 1. You just don't see it very well. It's just, there is blood involved. People, like, for instance, espers who use magic will, like, hemorrhage. So they'll spit blood.
Yeah.
So you'll see people spitting blood, getting punched in the gut, and again spitting blood, or overloading their brain, and blood gushing out their ears. Bit over the top, but still, it's not something I'm going to turn it off for.
Right.
And probably my favourite thing about it is and I bet the chat room's surprised I haven't mentioned her, Misaka Mikoto. Best tsundere character ever. I'd go as far to say my favourite character. In everything, she's awesome. And the sort of romantic plot between her and Toma is done expertly well.
Cool.
I guess, to sum it up, the only problem I really have with this anime isn't actually to do with the anime. It's the anime was done by a light novel, and it had an anime. So what else is it going to obviously have in manga?
Right.
And I've read the first issue of the manga, and it changes the plot. Well, not the plot, but bits of the plot to such an extent that it's not right. It's not what you're. It's not like, oh, he said this instead of this. It's he did this when he should have done this, because if he did that, it doesn't make sense.
Okay.
That thing, it totally jarred me.
Okay.
I read this bit and I was like, wait a minute, Misaka's not supposed to be like that. Why is she saying that?
Yeah.
That's, this isn't her kind of thing. Which just jarred me.
Okay.
That's my really only problem, other than the fact that it will eventually end. Except for the fact that it's been licensed, so it is likely there will be an announcement of the dub this year. But I'm not really bothered about the anime being dubbed. I like the Japanese. I've watched so much of it in the Japanese. Even when the dub comes out, I'll watch it subbed. I just want the novels to be translated. Because I've read some of the novels, I've been, naughty, and legally acquired some PDFs.
Okay.
And, because it's fan translated, I can't tell how close the anime is to the novel. So I want it translated so I know.
Yeah.
And just something for the listeners. The first season does about novel 1 to 7. So that shows you it doesn't screw around.
Wow.
1 to 7 is a lot of novels, but don't feel rushed at all. Because obviously it's not like it's a 12-season anime, it's a 24-episode season anime.
True.
And you don't feel rushed. That's 7 novels, bam, you get them all, and you feel like you've gotten your money's worth.
Yeah.
And season 2, obviously I don't know. I'm hoping it will be 7 to or 8 to 14, because from what I've seen of some of the novel illustrations of some of the later stuff, there's going to be some really interesting plots. Cool. It's got an amazing plot, and that's probably the best thing about it. If you like plots, you like good stories, Toaru Medusa no Index is the anime for you. If you like sci-fi, you like fantasy, this is what you want to watch. You want to spend you can spend a whole day, or you can span it out across months.
And there are 24 volumes in light novels in the Jujutsu no Index, franchise.
And it's still going.
Yeah, plenty of material.
Going. That is the awesome thing. And that's the weird thing. The novels are incredibly popular. So I'm surprised they aren't translated, because
but
Haruhi novels aren't as popular. Simple as that. They aren't as popular.
But light novels don't sell over here.
Yeah.
So I think they're having trouble licensing any sort of light novel over here. Unfortunately,
people don't read.
Yeah, well, they don't read light novel. They read Twilight, but they don't read light novels.
They read Twilight, but
they read American stuff.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Well, and British stuff. Let us not forget Rowling.
Yeah, wasn't there an anime actually last season that was like Twilight, but actually has a competent plot? It was
Vampire Bunch, one of my favorite animes of the year.
It was like Fortune Alterial or something like that. It was
oh
pretty
yeah.
Good. Yeah.
I remember the name. I'm not. Don't remember.
Yeah. What were we on about again? We talked about Index for what? 10 minutes?
3 years.
I had no idea what you guys are talking about.
We're still on Index.
This Index is awesome. It's,
I'm
when
sure it is,
guy comes to talk about his favourite anime, he's going to talk a lot.
Yeah, I know.
True.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Only problem that I
Don't get
have
me
is that
started on Elfen
I want to watch Railgun, because when Brent did a review on Index, he said there's going to be some characters from Railgun, so you might want to watch Railgun first. I'm like, we got to watch Railgun now.
No, don't watch Railgun first.
I'm so behind.
Don't watch Railgun first. If he's saying watch Railgun before the second season, watch the order is Season 1, Railgun, Season 2. I have heard some people say watch Railgun before Season 1. No, not always done. Don't do that. Watch the first season, then Railgun, then Season 2.
Fair enough.
Are there any other anime reviews that need
as well?
Is there any other anime that needs to be reviewed?
I think that's the lot.
Okay, well, actually, there's one thing I want to mention. It's not a review, but basically, because if there are some fans out there in the chat,
okay.
Kimi no Tokide Season 2.
Okay.
It's from a very good shoujo manga.
Right.
If there are some fans out there, I have not watched Season 2. I'm actually trying to catch up to watch Season 1. It's a very good shoujo manga. It's very realistic. There's nothing like she's dressing up as a boy and like that. It's a straight up shoujo manga. Very sweet, very slice of life, very realistic. And if you're into that sort of thing, go watch it. I'm watching the first season anime right now. It's brilliant.
Mm-hmm. This is the one where the original premise is that the main character looks like Sadako from The Ring. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just so
it's cute like that, though. But yeah.
Yeah. That's how it just starts off, and then it goes off in its direction.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Do we have any news items that we want to talk about tonight? There was not too much in the way of controversial news items.
Actually, there was one news item that I saw. It was actually an announcement for Gainax's next anime.
Oh.
Let's see if I can find it. Where is the blooming thing? Here we go. Let's see if I can pronounce my Japanese class correctly. Kago no Pila desu. It's a magical girl anime by Gainax, and guess who the other person who's making it is? Subaru. The car dealer, Subaru.
Okay.
Is helping Gainax make a magical girl anime.
Is this a TV series? I thought this was just going to be a series
it's a TV
of
series,
ads.
yes. At least I believe so. That's what everything's telling me on the anime site that I use to watch anime.
Okay.
It seems to be a new series.
Can you post a link?
Okay. Let me look for it. Let's see.
Gundam Forever. Is there anything to say about Super Hot Wars? I wasn't aware there's any new news on that.
I think he just wants you to talk about it. Just please talk about it.
Nothing more to say, unfortunately. Well, let's talk about the Tiger Mask stuff. That's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, that stuff is neat.
Yeah.
It's again just really, and I like the fact that they're doing it in other anime people's names.
Yeah.
But I should let Brent explain the news story before I start talking about it. So please go ahead.
So basically, as we mentioned before, someone donated a bunch of school backpacks in the name of Tiger Mask, or Tiger Mask's alter ego, who is this basically superhero. And other folks have started continuing to do that and donating things like school backpacks and pencils and supplies and just money to various orphanages and other basically kids organizations in Japan. Right now, let's see here. I'm looking for the numbers. So Yui from K-On!, Doraemon, Mario and Yoshi, Anpanman, Gecko Kamen, someone from X Japan, Muska from Castle in the Sky. That's hilarious. Yeah, very strange. They have all donated to various children's centers. There are now over 700 different donations, and it just keeps on coming. And one actual nice thing is that the original Tiger Mask manga is now being bought in record numbers. In just 2 days, each of the 7 volumes sold about 1,500 copies. So they sold about 10,000 copies of Tiger Mask, which is from the early 70s, actually. So that's really awesome that there's more of that stuff going on. Let me see if I can grab the...
Who reeks of pettiness now? I told you on the first week I talked about this. I told you this would catch on, and it did. So
it did. It's kind of surprising. Some of the other folks who have donated include Rei Ayanami, Haruhi Suzumiya, which kind of makes sense.
I believe in Haruhism.
The kid from Crayon Shin-chan, Arsene Lupin, of course, Kamen Rider, Date Masamune from Sengoku Basara, but he's also a real character, Stitch from Lilo and Stitch, and others have, and also actually Gigantor donated as well.
Gigantor.
So that's pretty cool. The other interesting thing is how a lot of these donations are not only signed, they're kind of in the
in character.
Yeah, kind of in character, where like Haruhi said, "I don't use these anymore, so please use them for children in need," and left like girly type stuff. So that's pretty darn cool.
Yeah. Oh, Brent, I gave you the link on your Skype.
Thank you. Yes. I can get to it.
Just the thing that it's making the manga sell, it's awesome but weird because it's just really weird what makes people buy things.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, a fan of this manga donated some stuff to kids.
Mm-hmm.
I want this manga. I don't see where the flip comes in, really.
Yeah, I suspect. I suspect it's more nostalgia than anything else.
Yeah.
That they thought, Tiger Mask. I haven't bought that in a long time. I'll go watch it.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's the only reason I can think of.
Or it could be like people see the story, and then they're like, "Who's Tiger Mask? I got to read about this." That's right.
That's true. Yeah.
That's probably it.
Something from 1970. A lot of anime fans, I'm sure these days have no idea. My anime list is currently listing Hogaku no Pleiades, the new Gainax anime, as an ONA. So apparently it's going to be network only.
Brent, you're exploding.
I'm exploding? Oh no.
We couldn't hear a word of that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It looks like Hogaku no Pleiades, the new Gainax anime.
Yeah.
That looks like that's going to be an ONA. It's going to be internet only. And I'm seeing a thing here saying it's a Subaru X Gainax animation project.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting. It looks like it's going to be just a side project type thing. Cool. We've been going on for a while.
Catch It One gets its own series like proper TV. That was such a good OVA.
I don't think it'd work as a television series. I mean, I'm glad it's nominated for this award, but it's just it couldn't work as anything other than what it was, a short film. the characters were interesting and everything. It's just I don't think I'd want to watch bunny rabbits kill camels for 24 episodes or 12 episodes.
Hold my interest. That's because I'm an idiot.
Again, it's another war film with that gimmick. You know, it was a good war film. You know, if this was real people, it would have been just as amazing.
Yeah.
But I don't think it would work as an anime.
Yeah.
But well, not you know, a CGI series.
Oh, oh guys, I actually just thought of a story. Have you guys seen the Space Battleship Yamato trailer yet?
Yeah.
Nope.
No.
Oh, it's awesome. First of all, it's not only awesome, but also apparently it's going to have music by Aerosmith in it.
Yes,
No,
it does.
I need to see this trailer.
Yeah. Brent, can you get the trailer? I don't know where it is, honestly.
I can't stream
After the
trailers
show, mate.
during the show, sadly.
But
But
actually,
I'll see what I can show later on if I can download it and do it.
Because my high school teacher showed me this yesterday while I was visiting. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, the movie's already out actually in Japan.
Oh yeah, it is. Huh? He told me that.
Yeah, it came out a couple of weeks ago.
It just looks amazing, though.
Yeah, I mean, Space Battleship Yamato is not something that I thought would work very well live action. It's a very stylized thing, but it looks like the movie really did it right. It's pretty cool.
Harlock, you're next.
Yes. Well, they're doing a Harlock CGI film, so we'll see.
Yep.
the one thing like the thing that I think should be a TV series though is the OVA Kyokoi wo Hajime Mas, like one of the greatest directed things I have ever seen. And I'm still incredibly annoyed that's not a show yet. I'm very annoyed the company hasn't decided. It's very annoying because it's a fantastic show. It's brilliant. So, you know, if you ever want that animetake.com or something, look for Kyokoi wo Hajime Mas. You have no idea what's going on because it came with a manga, so you have to have the background of the manga. I had no idea what's going on either, but it was brilliant.
Yeah. Cool.
Brent, this isn't really news, but are you planning to review Bakuman Volume 2? Is everyone getting the Bakuman volumes, by the way?
I do not comment on what I'm planning on reviewing in the future.
Okay. Well, this is more
Welcome
of
to ONV.
Okay, so I won't comment on that, but basically there's this line in Bakuman 2 that's going to annoy you, and the thing is, this is a mistranslation on the English side. It's a very common mistranslation. The line is basically this editor-in-chief of Shonen Jaku, whatever you want to call it, says to create a popular manga just needs to be good.
Okay.
And he just keeps on saying to get it serialized, it needs to be good. Good manga is what needs to be serialized. Good manga. While the actual line is manga needs to be interesting.
Ah, okay.
It needs to have an interesting story. So like I knew a guy like you that would annoy you the hell out of you. So I didn't want that to affect your point on Bakuman because
fair enough.
Yeah, but I just wanted to warn you.
Okay.
All right, then.
Fair enough.
All right.
Fair enough.
Any other news stories that we know of? I'm trying to think.
Keep Anime Alive website.
Fell for the Bleach story.
Bleach story?
What Bleach story?
The one where they claimed they were ending or something.
Oh,
like
yeah.
The band.
Yeah.
Because he says, I need to talk about Bleach ending in April 2011.
Yeah.
That's not happening, mate.
Yeah, no. Yeah, in case anyone is watching this and didn't understand what happened, Rookies is Punked is a band that did the ending themes for Bleach, and they posted on their blog that basically it's ending in like April. And what turns out what they actually meant was that their involvement in making ending themes is ending in April. And everyone thought, oh my gosh, Bleach is ending in April. No, Bleach will never end. Bleach will continue on until the sun's supernovas. That's Bleach.
I wish it would end with how repetitive the plot's getting. That's just an opinion, Of course it makes sense to pull Spirit out of walls. That makes perfect sense. No, it doesn't.
It's shonen that makes money.
My opinion.
Here's an interesting one. Good news. One Piece will end.
Really?
It was announced recently. The main guy who did One Piece announced recently that this volume, whatever it's writing, whatever it is, will be the middle volume of One Piece.
Interesting.
The time skip will actually represent the middle of One Piece.
Wow. So we only have 90,000 volumes to go.
But it's quite funny because apparently several otakus cried after realizing it was going to end, which I'm quite happy about.
Dude, it's up to what, like volume 38? It's like, you know, you've got plenty of One Piece left. My God.
No, One Piece is at like volume 50 or 60.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, I would know because I have One Piece volume 1 through 23, and that's where that's the end of the Alabasta arc.
Yeah. Jeez.
Yes, and arc, yeah.
But it has over 600 chapters at the moment.
Yeah. Crazy.
So yeah, we're in the middle point, people.
It's stuff.
Amazing.
Yep.
Good. All right. Well, then I think that does it. So thank you very much for joining me. Thank you, Matt from Life and Tims of Anime.
It's always a pleasure. Check out the show. Obviously, I don't think I plug my own podcast enough on this show, mainly because it's your podcast, but I'm going to do it today.
Go for it.
Check out the Life and Tims. If you like Otaku no Video and you like my work on Otaku no Video, you'll like me on Life and Tims. And we do have Brent on every now and then, and hopefully, because of his performance today, I'm hoping to get Zan on. We will get you there, Zan. I will force you if I have to.
All right, then just send me the link, man. I'm willing, man. I'm willing.
Yeah, and we had Miniman last month.
Yeah,
for the 4th episode. We're having him this month as well for our review of Disappearance. And guess what else we're reviewing that came out this season?
Ooh.
Just guess. Twine reviews on it next. What do you think?
Shocks.
But yeah, always a pleasure to be on the show, and it's really fun entertaining you people and talking to other otakus that are not only otakus, but intelligent otakus.
Exactly.
Which aren't actually that rare, it's just the ones in England are.
And thank you, Miniman, for joining us. What's going on with your work?
Well, recently, Tohu Izumi, the guy who works with Matt, after a random conversation, I'm suddenly involved in a fan dub of Panty Stuck with Garbell.
Wow.
Seems I'm acting as Brief, which is
Okay.
quite funny.
Yeah.
I just did this really random sort of attempt at a Scottish accent that sounded more American. He was like, that's perfect, that is Brief in a nutshell. So, Always Review Centre, we've actually decided that everything must have ARC. Always Review Centre, we're doing a Halo thing called Angry Red Covenant.
Nice.
And I'll be taking on the name Aiden Rodjenko for that channel.
Okay.
Because I'm going to be doing a game series called Aiden Rodjenko Commentates. But that's not doing anything at the moment. So at the moment, yeah, I would say exactly what Matt said, except the fact that, he said I was glad to be, it's nice to be entertaining people. I don't think what I did today counts as at all entertaining, apart from my pleads to get me out of his basement.
No, Miniman will forever stay in my basement. That's a lot. You're going to stay chained to that wall, and you're going to like it.
Yeah.
I give you internet access. What more do you want? Do you want food? You're not allowed food.
No, you gave me internet access, and the only channels you allowed were this, Skype, and freezing.
Yes.
And you'll like it.
If you want violence, you watch freezing. If you want porn, you watch freezing. Then you're done.
Oh boy! And RisingZan, thank you very much for joining us this week.
Thank you very much, Brent. I've been a fan ever since you reviewed Macross 2, surprisingly.
Oh, really? That was quite the review.
And I've been a great fan of yours, Brent. Matthew, this is the first time meeting you. Dude, you are a funny man.
Thank you.
Miniman, great man. And so great to be like. I've worked a lot. Okay, so time for me to plug in as well. I have a website on blogspot.com called Otaku Underground, and that's basically my thing. Right now, it's just written reviews. I'm hoping to expand more. Like right now, next step is I'm going to try and do recording views with pictures and video footage of the anime I'm reviewing. And the goal of Otaku Underground is to find obscure anime and also finding obscure anime. Give kind of entertaining reviews because we have great analytic reviewists like you and Matt.
Thank you.
But what we don't get is like some entertaining reviewers. Yeah. Oh, you too, man.
Yay.
But we don't get a whole lot of entertaining reviewers. Like I know so many people who can can crack open an anime in an instant. Like, have you guys heard of this Gesso Otaku person?
I don't think so.
I have heard, but I've never watched or read.
Yeah, she's very analytical. Like she cracks open Evangelion pretty well. Yeah. But I think we should get like some entertaining reviewers as well as analytical, you know?
Sure.
But that's just my opinion. But Brent, I love your show, and I'm really glad to be on here. You know, this is. I just got my mic for Christmas, so next will be the camera.
Perfect.
Congrats,
Perfect.
Yeah, and so it's really great to be here. I'm really great. This is my first show. I hope I can be on many more shows.
I hope so too. That'd be great.
I'm begging you to be. You actually make up for our incompetence.
Yeah, whenever we're stupid, whenever me and Miniman are stupid or just haven't watched an anime, you seem to have watched every anime in this season. So, you know, we'll just rely on you from now on.
For example, I watched every one of the 16 animes of the season, bar 15 of them.
Matt and Miniman, you are now officially redundant.
I watched 6 of them. I think I've done a subpar job.
Well, Matt does my job for watching Index for me because I'm still working on Railgun and I'm working at a very slow pace because I'm also trying to do reviews for my obscure anime. I'm actually working on a review called Yagatake Japan.
Oh yeah!
Gosh, that series is very funny and very weird.
A lot of folks love that one. Yeah.
I know. And I'm trying to like. The whole goal of Otaku Underground is to bring anime from the underground and bring it up to the top.
Well, I've got some obscure anime I can point you to, no question.
I would love it.
Oh, man. I've got some stuff that was only released on VHS, I'll put it that way.
Oh, wow.
Dedication on Brent's part.
Yeah, I've got some
if you want obscure anime, feel free to check out my new series, Bible Brent versus the Brent Gal.
Actually, Brent, remember that episode you did on reviewing the very first animated feature? I can't remember the name.
Oh, Momotaro, yeah.
Yeah, but actually, my teacher from high school, actually, when I was visiting, he pointed me out that there was actually some anime before that. It was
there was, yes.
A really quick short of like a schoolboy like writing on a chalkboard.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There are a bunch of animated things. That was the first feature length animated film. But yeah, there was a lot of animated stuff before that actually. Mm-hmm. Yeah, very true. Cool. So Otaku Underground and Life in Tim's and everything else out there.
Wait. Nope. Question.
Yes.
Question of the week.
Oh yes, question of the week. Thank you very much.
Question of the week.
Which was kind of this bit disappointing this time because the question of the week was the 2014 will mark the 200th anniversary of manga. And the question is, how would you celebrate? I.e., if you had actual money to do some kind of big celebration, what would you do? And we got one answer back from... we just got a couple of questions back. Michael Lohr, Wazowski, on the chat room, said, by the time 2014 comes around, I plan to be in Japan, either on study abroad or actually living there. So I'll probably do my thing there in Japan, read, buy, and share with my friends. We also got a response from Alan Lucian, who said, I would invest in a special anniversary video on Bakuman and maybe include a crossover of anime characters that will thank all the talented people who would create them. That'd be a cool idea, a crossover that sort of celebrates manga. That'd be neat. Yeah. And those were all the responses we got. So what do you guys think? What would you do to celebrate manga's anniversary in a big way?
I have an idea.
Yep.
I have an idea.
Yep.
I would buy the entire English series of Dragon Ball, all Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'll be planning if I have the money at least, because I am a broke otaku.
That's actually technically against the rules that we decided
right.
because that's beneficial to you. The thing is, it's supposed to be a one-time
kind
of party.
Right, it's supposed to be something celebratory for the public.
Well, while you decide, I can go through mine.
Yeah.
Mine's a weird one. It's not exactly anime, related to anime. It's just manga theme.
Okay.
Get a big boat, a cruise around all of Japan, and for every location, you theme it around a different manga.
Cool.
So you dress up, you have parties, booze, fireworks. And do all sorts of stuff themed to that manga.
Cool.
The location doesn't have to be linked to the manga, but it's just like, when you're about to change borders.
Yeah.
You just, you say, quickly, get your Dragon Ball costumes on.
Yeah.
And that's what you do. And I think that would be awesome, because how long does it take to cruise around Japan?
Yeah.
Weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, probably months.
Yeah.
You know, that would be awesome to do, because it'd be a more than a month long party.
Yeah. That'd be awesome.
And you're celebrating something that is awesome, you know. And then when you all get off, you all get free manga. That's when it becomes against the rules.
Nice. How about you guys?
My one was kind of obscure. It was sort of based off what I wanted to do as a career, and I sort of always already had this idea anyway.
Okay.
But I based it off the life of Edgar Wright in a sense. But basically, Edgar Wright started doing film projects 2 years into uni.
Okay.
Like major ones, and I always wanted to actually do that as well. But my dream was to actually has always been to be the director that can make anime and manga versions of stuff good, that can actually do it right, and that can actually understand what you're doing here. And I always wanted to actually sort of like if I had money to spend, like first of all meet all of the people who I need to meet in person, like Lizel, Leon, you guys, like all those people who I have owned anime channels with, but I've never actually met, or been on, and invite them to a hall in, say, an anime convention, like all pay for you guys to go off to America or something. Well, apart from you, Brent, you're already there. But just announce it, just say in front of all these people, hello everyone, I am, I'm directing this, and I can do this right for once, and I can give us a good name. So that's always been my sort of dream. But it'll probably happen in 2015, 16 if that ever happens.
So make movies that actually get folks to see manga in a way that actually works. That'd be cool.
Well, because my dream's always been to do the Phantom as a live action. That's always my dream.
Cool. Zan, how about you?
I actually thought of a new one. I think this one is actually a bit more beneficial and really does celebrate manga. I give a petition just of 20,000 signatures to have Ashita Joe brought overseas.
Nice. Yeah,
because that's been revered as like the best manga of all time. It's been revered by many people.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good one.
And I think it should really be brought overseas.
Yeah, I like that one. Yeah, I think for me, I would basically, I would fund a project to go to like every library and fill out all of their manga collections. They've all got volumes 1, 3, and 8 of things, and just get all of them in there. So you can actually go and read through these manga and give, and also actually look at what they've got and say, okay, everyone gets a copy of Nausicaa. Everyone gets a copy of, these classic manga, and just make it all available and out there for folks to read. I think there's some great stuff that needs to be out there. So.
Yeah, I think that just as a final point, well, actually, just another sort of option for any British person, really. Yeah. So anyone that's old enough that's English in the chat room, I think the best way to celebrate manga. I said it in American again, manga, in England is to open a manga shop.
That'd be cool.
Oh, simple as that. Yes. Open a shop filled with manga. Fill it with comics as well if you want.
In 3 seconds in England.
Well, not really, because there's a comic shop near me in Leeds called Travelling Man, and half of their stock is manga. And it sells.
Wow.
And they have manga themed stuff. They have anime figures, and it sells. It's not from want of, because the otaku community alone in somewhere like Leeds, if it was in somewhere like Leeds or Manchester or London, your products would sell. Yeah. If I opened it in Dewsbury, I'm screwed. But go to your nearest major city that people in the north or south, depending where you live, because most people in the south know where Leeds is. So move to Leeds, open a manga shop. Half stock comics, half stock manga. But I think that would be the best way to celebrate it.
Yeah.
Because then you have the biggest chance of making more otakus.
Yeah.
Because a lot of otakus these days are not normal people.
True.
That sounds. They come from a comic background. Because where is manga sold?
Yeah.
Comic shops.
Yeah.
So say they're browsing Batman, they turn over, look to their left, giant shelf of manga, which is basically what it is in Travelling Man. You know, and then you say, "Ooh, these are small comics, but they're bigger." So so you know that's how most otakus in England are getting interested these years. So you know that's what we need to focus on, keeping that alive, and then focusing on getting new members. You know,
or I thought of another way.
Yeah.
Like, not to get, but a good way of celebrating. We could have, like, a sort of fireworks, but a very special one, which is actually C4 on 4Kids main base. Just 3, 2, 1, beep. Great fireworks.
That'd be more celebrating anime, but yeah.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Actually, I have another idea to celebrate manga. This is actually a manga that I recently bought. It's called Kingyo Used Books. This book completely celebrates manga. Even in the back, there is an index for all the manga they showed in the thing, and like the whole book is about like manga and how it like contains your childhood memories, or how it could like bring a smile on your face. Yeah, Brent, I totally recommend for you to read this. It's like it's really interesting. Like there's characters, there's like so many stories, but it's all surrounded around this used bookstore called Kingyo Used Books, and it's just it's really interesting. It's really inspiring to see how much people love manga in Japan.
Yeah. Oh, it's a huge thing.
So I would think everyone should at least read the first volume of Kingyo Used Books to celebrate manga. It's small, but I think it really does, because it really makes you realize how far manga's come if you read this book.
Cool.
And it's only like it's just like a manga, and I think I got it for like $10 at my Borders.
Cool. Yeah, I just ordered a copy on Amazon. It'll arrive on Wednesday.
I'm gonna be so excited for that review then.
Which will probably not be for months, considering how long it takes me to get through manga. But
I'm a patient man, Brent. I'm a patient man.
Awesome. Well, thank you all very much for joining me for Otaku News Live this week. That was a great one, and we will see you all next week. Take care.
Yeah, it was always a pleasure. Bye.
See ya. Thank you very much. Arigato. Thank you, guys.